Welcome to the Side Hustlers Society podcast, the place where you can find out more about the hustles that are best for you. And of course, make more money in the process. Elijah has been in the gig economy and freelance space for over 8 years and has done over 4,000 deliveries on Uber Eats. Has several video editing clients, many properties on Airbnb, runs multiple YouTube channels, and is the author of the best-selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. It's his mission to empower people with the tools needed to be successful. Now, welcome your host, the king of the side hustles, Elijah Bilel.
Sup, everyone? It's the king of side hustles, Elijah Bilel here. And we're going to be putting this on the podcast too, but I'm streaming it on the podcast, the Side Hustler Society, and also Financial Anatomy. Real excited because, as y'all know, I've kind of been known as the person who reviews VidSummit every single year, and one recently happened. It's the year 2025, and it was an interesting situation. So this is my third time of going to VidSummit, and we're going to do this video a little differently. Like last time, I'm going to have a panel, but not only will we be doing a review of the summit, we're going to be talking about different ways you can leverage VidSummit to really take your creator business to the next level, or your freelancer business to the next level if you're going as a freelancer. So I'm normally wearing a suit or a vest, but I'm being a rebel here. This hoodie, Hustler's Gonna Hustle While Haters Gonna Hate, it was supposed to be here before VidSummit. I ordered it like 2 weeks ahead of time, and it got lost in the mail, and it came 2 weeks after VidSummit. That's why on day 1 and day 3, y'all saw me wearing the Veggie Outers hoodie. So instead of wearing a suit, I want this to be represented in some form with VidSummit. That's why we're wearing the merch today. I do want to say that this is brought to y'all by Awesome Creator Academy, Roberto of Blake's group. Now, he's not sponsoring this video, but I am an affiliate. Some of y'all know that I actually have 4 YouTube channels. Y'all know about Financial Anatomy, Side Hustler Society, the podcast, and the Veggie Outers. Well, when I first got on YouTube, I only had 1 YouTube channel, and that was the Side Hustler Society. Back then, it was called The App Lifestyle. And once I got involved with Awesome Creator Academy, Roberto essentially showed me the ropes, showed me the game, and I was able to expand into all 4 channels. 2 of those channels are monetized, and the podcast makes its own money in various different ways. So if you're interested in joining Awesome Creator Academy, click the link in the description and also the pinned comment. So in a few minutes, we're going to bring the panel on to have a talk about how VidSummit was. But before we do that, I actually have some footage that I actually got during the summit of various speakers and people who have been to VidSummit really since the event started. Like in, I actually don't have the exact number or day that it started, the year, but I know it's been around for over 5 years, maybe even 10 years. But some people have been going every single summit since then, and they have some things to say. So we're going to go ahead and play that footage. And then we're going to get into talking about what people thought about the summit and how you can leverage it to best take your creator business to the next level. So let's go ahead and hear what people had to say, including some of the speakers.
It's Elijah Bilel from the Side Hustler Society. And as you know, VidSummit 2025 has officially concluded, and I personally thought it was a pretty good time. But I wanted to do something different from this year because, as y'all know, each year I review VidSummit, and those reviews can be found on the Side Hustler Society on our YouTube channel. But this year, I wanted to actually speak with some of the speakers and ask them one crucial question, because many people who are coming to VidSummit are newcomers. And that question is, what is the number 1 piece of advice they would give to someone coming to VidSummit for the first time? Because oftentimes when you're first coming to VidSummit, you're overwhelmed and you're not entirely sure what to do. At least that's how I felt during my first VidSummit. This is my 3rd VidSummit, just for context. So during the summit, I got a chance to talk to Roberto Blake, Nick Nimmin, and Andrew Can, and I asked them this particular question. So let's hear what they have to say. What's up, y'all? So this is Elijah Bilel. I'm kind of feeling my yearly duty because I'm at VidSummit, kind of giving it a review. We have Roberto Blake, founder of Awesome Creator Academy. He's also one of the keynote speakers here. How are you doing today?
Doing good. I did the opening keynote. I managed to get done in 5 hours of sleep, and I brought that big creator energy.
Indeed. Some of y'all know that I have multiple YouTube channels. I'm actually part of an Awesome Creator Academy. When I joined Roberto's group, I only had one channel and I just got monetized. Now that channel's bigger. I started another channel that's 5 times bigger than the original one called Financial Anatomy. And I have a podcast which he talked me into doing. I have Andrew Ken here, and he's essentially a VidSummit veteran, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would, absolutely. After 7, I think I got it down.
Yeah, this is my 3rd one. He makes me seem like this is my 1st one.
Well, it's actually my first Texas one, so I guess this is my first Texas rodeo.
Oh, okay. It kind of balances the scale somewhat.
It does. There we go.
So what's up? This is Elijah, and y'all know I'm coming at y'all with another review of this year's VidSummit in 2025. I have Nimmin here, one of the keynote speakers, and y'all probably know him from YouTube, but I'm not going to tell his story for him. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great.
So, Roberto, I got to ask you this one question.
Yeah.
In terms of VidSummit, if someone's thinking about coming, what advice would you give to them to really leverage the 3 days they're getting at VidSummit?
So that's a really good question. This is not necessarily for people who are hobbying or on the fence. If you are committed to content creation, this is the place to be. You'll be in community and communion with fellow creators who get it and who do take it seriously. I would say the big key is you will get the recordings of all the keynotes. So you could prioritize your time and balance it so that you can network, meet people, and really feel engaged and be present. And you still won't feel like you missed out, because unless you're going to ask a specific question from a specific speaker, you don't necessarily need to attend their talk. And the speakers, for the most part, even the biggest creators, do make themselves relatively accessible. You'll sit there and you'll see a circle of people, only to find out that someone there has 30 million subscribers, somebody else has 300,000, someone else has 3,000, and someone else hasn't even started yet. And they're all just chatting it out and talking to each other and working through whatever their experiences or issues are. So I would say that when you're here, prioritize the opportunities for community, not just for the speaker conference sessions, because you'll be able to get the knowledge in the replays, and you can't be at every talk all at once. Multiple talks happen all at once. So I would say prioritize maybe 3 to 5 talks besides maybe the opening or main stage keynote. Prioritize 3 to 5 talks that absolutely are meaningful to you right now, where you might want to try to get in line for a question or speak to the speaker afterward. And beyond that, try to prioritize the rest of your time being around fellow creators and just meeting strangers, talking to people, going to individual creator meetups that might be for selective groups. There was a group yesterday meetup for Christian content creators. There was a meetup group for vloggers. There was a meetup group that was for short form creators. So you could find little pockets of events within events at the conference. And if you sit there and you try to obsess over going to every single talk and filling up that schedule, you'll miss those moments of serendipity and genuine community value.
Nicely put. I didn't know the Hoover app, that's what he's talking about. It's an app that you can really use to take advantage of the events.
Yeah.
It was a thing the first time I came, so you're already ahead of the game compared to me. So really utilize that app, see what events are going on, and you can really expand your network when it comes to the creator economy.
You can also ask questions for the speakers about their sessions in the app. And if they're like me, after their talk is when they'll usually try to get to all of those questions. And they might remind you, like I told people, hey, if you have questions and you don't get to me after I get off stage, put them in the app. I will go back this week through the conference or after the conference and make sure I hit back every single one of them, because that's important to me. So that's something that you could also do to take advantage of the app.
Sweet. So Andrew, I got to ask you, as a veteran of VidSummit, someone who's coming for their very first time, what advice would you give to them to get the most out of VidSummit?
Well, first thing I would say is if you're looking to get the most out of VidSummit, don't forget to drink water. So many people throughout the day have lost their voice. So first, hydrate. But second, and more importantly, is don't be afraid to talk to anyone you meet. This is an event where there are people who have been here, 3 times, 7 times. There are some people who've been here for all 12, including the virtual ones. So you really don't know who you're going to meet next. And a lot of times people are just afraid to say hi. We are all here for a reason. We're here to share knowledge. We're here to there's not a lot of ego here. I saw Linus Tech Tips, the main keynote, who was just walking around answering questions, saying hi. And he literally said, no one ever says hi to me. That's your sign.
Yeah, I think that's the clearest sign you can see, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So how many VidSummits have you been speaking at?
I have been coming to VidSummit, I believe, for 8 years, and I have spoken for 7 years.
Nice.
Yeah, it might be 9 and 8, but I think it's 7 and 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So either way, it's a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want to ask you this one question, because VidSummit is a great opportunity for people for various reasons. In your opinion, like, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to someone who is coming to VidSummit for the first time?
Bring a notepad. Bring a notepad, because when it comes to creator conferences, you're going to learn more at VidSummit than you will any other creator-focused conference. And the reason for that is when it comes to VidSummit, the way that they've designed this in terms of the speakers and just how they market it and who they market it to, it's all content creators that are serious about what it is that they're doing. So because of that, you have new people that are here that are learning how to do it, but they're serious, and then you have established creators that are here that are trying to share what we know with people that are getting started and with our peers. So because of that, when people come here, you have all the presentations and all those things, but you also have people hanging out and sharing information and ideas with each other as well. So even right now, as we have this conversation, it's 10 p.m. So the conference ended, I think, somewhere around 6, right? 6 or 7. So, we've got another, 3 hours, for this conversation that we are sitting here of content creators behind, the camera. There's a bunch of content creators back here that are still talking about YouTube, still sharing ideas, still, getting feedback on their YouTube channels and all those things with other people that, that are serious about this and that understand YouTube.
Nicely put. I actually just got done hosting a local meet, because I'm from the DFW area.
Oh, okay.
And on the Hoover app, I put on an event for creators in the local DFW area.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and the meetup started out with 12 of us, but people kept passing us, hearing us talking about YouTube and these concepts. They ended up joining the conversation, and then eventually we just kind of took over this whole area.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That's a great example of what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you giving us the time, Roberto.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in joining the Awesome Creator Academy, there'll be a link in the description and also the pinned comment. We'll catch y'all later. And you always say be awesome, right?
I always say go out there and create something awesome today.
Go out there and create something awesome today.
Yep.
All right,
Take care.
we'll catch y'all later. And just kind of closing out, feel free to share what you've got going now. And I'll be sure to link that in the description or the pinned comment.
Sure. So we're here to help you. My whole membership is about making sure you, the creator, can make this possible. If I can, you can too. So that's at kdcc.social.
Awesome. All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next portion of this VidSummit review. Stay hydrated, like Andrew said.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you doing this mini interview. I would ask for the audience, where can they get more of you? They know you're on YouTube, but you want to shout out your website or?
Sure, yeah, just go to nicknimmin.com, and then everything will lead to me from there.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. So now you've heard from some of the speakers and VidSummit veterans on how to best leverage the event. My advice on the topic is still the same, and it kind of parallels with what some of them said, but it's to really network hard, and then you can look at the sessions later. Maybe attend 20 to 30% of the sessions, but 70 or 80% live in those hallways and really take advantage of the opportunity that all these people who have the same interests as you, because they're content creators, video editors, creative entrepreneurs in the hallways, and just really network heavy so you can take advantage of the chance to forge those relationships and make those connections. Of course, I'll be hosting the VidSummit panel like I did last year, so stay tuned for updates on when that's going to be released, and that's also a reason to go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram, because you'll be notified when I come out with the official VidSummit 2025 review. With that being said, if you could like this video, very much appreciated. And all the people that were featured in this video will be tagged on this post, so you can check their Instagrams out as well as their business pages. I'll see y'all in VidSummit 2026.
Okay, so y'all had to wait for the VidSummit panel, because here we are. And now I'm not about to be alone, because we're really going to get into some good game on what did VidSummit overall do? Are they moving forward? Are they taking a step back? And how do you leverage it for your own business? So let's go ahead and welcome our guests. Let's bring them on. And we have quite a big panel this time.
What's up, guys?
Just one of y'all. So, can everyone hear me good?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay,
Yes,
so so everyone did. It looks like everyone's on camera. I know, Gregory, you're probably driving, but when you get to a stable, oh, you're taking it to the next level.
Logging and driving. What the heck?
Make sure you be safe, okay? Because I know you're on your way back to the studio, so safety first. But real quick before we get into it, how about everyone just introduce themselves and what niche and what their channel is called, but keep it kind of brief. We'll go to the right of me or to the left, depending on your perspective. But Joe, what's your channel about?
It's a cooking channel. It's a lot of product reviews, mostly cooking for super duper novices. So it's not for your Gordon Ramsay types or anything like that. This is people who are afraid to cook, who don't want to mess up stuff or their kitchen, and they buy all these small appliances, don't know how to use them. So it's mostly them. For those people, tips for them, and product reviews for small kitchen appliances and things like refrigerators and stuff like that.
Cool. Someone has some background noise. If that's coming from you, if you could just mute until it's your turn to talk, that's very much appreciated. But Bronco, how about you tell us what type of business you're in?
Yeah, so I'm a full-time video editor. I've been doing it pretty much for about 5-6 years, and I edit for a variety of different YouTube channels. And everything from motorsports to outdoors, adventures, chefs. I've edited for a chef before. Any kind of genre, and that's kind of one of the most exciting things is it's just such a wide variety of niches out there that it keeps everything fresh and fun. So, yep.
Cool. Hey, Karen, I'm glad you're able to join us. YouTube over 40. So, Matthew, how about you tell us what's your channel about?
So my channel is going to be kind of like stocks and personal finance. Do like technical analysis and like kind of tutorials on how to use the apps and platforms. And it's just going to be my name, Matthew Manuel.
Cool. Okay, Delo, what you got going on?
What's up, guys? My name is Dilo. I'm actually an artist, and I make all kinds of music, mainly hip hop and R&B. I also am a lifestyle creator, so I make all types of content on TikTok, whether it's making memes or just giving advice. I'm that guy. And then you can find me on Instagram at thatboydilo, and on YouTube, thatboydilo.
All right. Rebecca, how about you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca. My channel is on video games. So I actually don't even really do videos. I mostly do live streaming and shorts. And so I live stream a variety of games, usually action, adventure games or RPGs, but I'll play anything. And I also host a podcast called Small Streamer Diaries, which is about the content creation industry and just like being a streamer. And I pick topics just like VidSummit or anything else I notice in the industry that I think is an interesting topic, and I'll bring on guests to talk about it, or sometimes I'll do solo episodes.
Any games? Does that mean you play like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption?
I have not played those on stream, but I have played those, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll probably have to talk. But but Asia, how about you?
Hello, can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
My name is Asia. I'm a designer, but outside of that, I'm also, I guess I call myself creative designer or content creator, I guess. Yeah. I have a YouTube channel. I do like lifestyle content. I'm working on rebranding right now. But yeah, lifestyle, beauty content, healthy vibes. My YouTube is Asia Tanya, ASHIA TANYA, Asia Tanya. I've also done modeling in the past and stuff like that, but yeah, I wanted to transition, be more dimensional in the way I do things. So yeah, that's what I went into YouTube and stuff. So I also have a podcast, Humble Series podcast, where I talk about God and my experiences with God. And lastly, my family, my mother, she owns a med spa, so I also work with them on content. Yeah.
So we have multiple podcasters on this stream. This should be interesting. All right, Gregory, how about you take us home and tell us what you got going on?
I am Gregory, the Momentum Catalyst. I have a lot of names, but the official GWiz on all platforms. I have 2 channels. I'm in the process of rebranding them both for what they were meant for, one for music and one for helping people to get out of their heads and into their hearts so they can step into their greatness. The way I do that is I ask better questions or encourage them to ask better questions so they can get better results. Sometimes we're just asking the wrong questions. Oh, and I also have a podcast called The Greater Journey, where I interview entrepreneurs about their messy middle of their journey, what it was like to start, what slapped them in their face when they first started, and what the struggle's been like, so that we can encourage entrepreneurs that are taking that leap to know that they're not going to make $1 million a year working from the beach 2 hours a week. That's not the life of an entrepreneur, especially not a YouTuber. It's a long game. So we don't want people jumping into this thinking it's going to be easy. So just getting people that are successful to share with others what the real journey looks like.
Nice. So as y'all see, audience, we have a full panel here. Normally, I would try and flash everyone's stuff on the screen, but we actually have too many people this time for that. So I would ask them, as we're kind of going through our questions that I'll be asking y'all, if you're not speaking, feel free to drop whichever call to action is the most valuable to you in the chat of the stream, and people will be able to, okay, what he said, let me click on it, check y'all out, subscribe, etc. But this stream is going to be different from last year, because last year I asked, I want to say a series of generic questions, and that's good, but that information is already out there, and ultimately it's not going to change. So we're going to be asking some new questions, and we're going to get heavy into the experience of VidSummit, but also how to leverage it. So first question I would have to ask is, for everyone, what's your most memorable moment that happened at VidSummit 2025? And I'll go first, because one of the some feedback from my last video last year, y'all actually wanted me to answer the questions with the panel as opposed to answering all the questions first and then bringing the panel up. So I'm answering the questions with the panel this time. My most memorable moment, he actually might appear on the stream later, but my most memorable moment is when I met another Elijah. And not only, that's not that rare to meet someone with the same name as me. What's a little rare. But not only was he a content creator like me, he actually also was vegan. So like, what are the chances of something like that happening? In fact, I'm going to pull up the footage of us meeting later. I don't have it on me, but that's my most memorable moment. While I pull that up, how about we go to Joe and ask him that question? What was your most memorable moment this time, Joe?
The most memorable moment, that would be on the second day we had kind of a Nick Nimmin Nimminati dinner. So it was Nick, all his Nimminati people that are basically his channel members. And obviously I was there with them. Nate Black was there with us. A couple of guys who used to run TubeBuddy were there with us. And it was about 20 of us. And we were all just hanging out together, sharing YouTube stories and stuff. It was freaking fantastic, seeing as how Nate and Nick are 2 of my favorite people. I mean, if Roberto had been sitting there next to us, it would have been like, this is worth the hotel room, the tickets, the whatever, all combined together. It was fantastic. We sat there for a couple of hours. It was great.
Okay. Wait, hold on, wait. I think I might have saw y'all. Like, y'all, we all like in a group like outside of the hotel, but like right outside.
Well, we were over at God, which restaurant is that? The restaurant. Remember we went over to the restaurant and we were making fun of you about your vegan hamburger?
Y'all were attempting to make fun of me. Y'all failed, but yeah.
Oh no, we were succeeding.
No.
We were there. Just
okay, at the bar
on the other side there. Yeah, we had a big table set up right next to that.
Okay. Because I remember on day 2 of the same day I interviewed Nick Nimmins, we all were huddled like in that corner of the West End, but there was a window, and when I looked outside, there was another group gathering right outside. I remember you had taken a seat, and you were talking to them because I could see out the window. So I thought you were talking about that at first.
Oh no, yeah, I spent all that time just finding smaller creators and trying to answer questions for them and just kind of help people that are struggling. Because for me, that's really what VidSummit is. It's to bring people up, not to flex on other people. No,
Yeah.
VidCon is kind of like that. VidSummit is it's a different animal. It's a really big deal. Gotta go.
Okay. So Bronco, how about you? What was your most memorable moment in this VidSummit?
I would say it happened on the Tuesday, the first day that I showed up, when I started joining the meetups. Mainly because VidSummit this was my first VidSummit, so it turned out that I realized that it was what I was hoping for, which was a great way to connect with other people who understood what you go through as a creator. And I think the most memorable moment was when I realized, oh my gosh, I have so much to offer to help people. And that was extremely satisfying because I've sort of been in a bubble for like 5-6 years with a pool of creators. It's all been word of mouth. So it's just, I've never advertised or anything like that. So it was just a small circle of people, and it kind of branched out, but I was really just insulated. And I didn't realize how much knowledge I had gained from working with some of these people. I mean, some of the people I work with are, were more experienced when I started, and I learned a lot, and I didn't realize how much I learned. And it was so much fun meeting with people and asking them questions and seeing if there were solutions that I could help them with. And honestly, I had such a blast. So it's like I'm singling out the Tuesday because the Tuesday was when I realized that was the case. But I had so much fun throughout the whole event. So it's like I really can't pinpoint one specific spot. But yeah, I had a fantastic time. I wish it was twice a year, honestly. So if that says something.
Oh, you're muted, Elijah.
Yeah, I was I was pulling that footage up in the background. I didn't want to make noise, but yeah, that might be something they could look at, like maybe doing this semi-annually instead of on an annual basis. It sounds like, in a sense, you have your own business, Bronco. I think this is a teachable moment for the Side Hustler Society. For those of y'all that have been following me and y'all are part of the Self-Made Business Academy, y'all know I'm talking about the marketing magnifier. And conferences and summits, they're a great source of offline outbound leads. And I think they're highly underestimated if you're a sociable person. A lot of people go immediately to how do I generate leads online? And that has its value, but if you have the right skills, hit up these conferences and these summits, and it will pay off. It will. Plus, what you pay, not tax advice, entertainment purposes only, but it is tax deductible. Consult with your enrolled agent officially, but I'm just saying. But before we go to Matthew, I did find that footage I was talking about where I met the other Elijah. Then it got lost in the sea of downloads that I have. No, it's here. So let me play that real quick. Let's see. Where is it? For whatever reason, it doesn't want to play. We'll try again later. So VidSummit just ended overall. I've encountered something that I've never encountered before, and I've met hundreds of people. Y'all know I'm the king of networking, and I've met another Elijah. Not only is he named Elijah, but he is also vegan too. Y'all hear me? I've never encountered that like ever. I bumped into other vegans, I bumped into other Elijahs, but not another vegan Elijah. So
shout out to Elijah.
I'm no longer one of a kind.
but I'm gonna tag him on Instagram. Be sure to check his stuff out. And what's the name of the documentary you mentioned?
You can find me on YouTube at Elijah Lamar, ElijahLemard.
Hey, there you go. Check him out, and he's linked on the screen right now. I'll catch y'all later.
Yeah, so I don't think that memorable moment is ever going to be topped, to be honest. That's almost literally kind of like bump. I have a fade now, but I used to actually have locks. If I still had locks, we might as well at that point have been twins. Shout out for Gregory, because he's actually the one that introduced us, because he found out that two Elijahs were in the same proximity. Let me make sure they connect. But yeah, with that being said, Matthew, what was your most memorable moment for VidSummit 2025?
It would probably be similar to Bronco, because I remember like the first day they had that like welcome party, right? And I was like, I don't know. I saw something about the Hoover app. I didn't even know how to get into it. And then like I think it might have been like the second full day or whatever. I like asked them for access. They gave me the code. I got in. I'm like, whoa, there's groups. You can go to the groups. I'm like, oh shoot, there's a DFW group. There's a finance group. There's all this stuff. And it was nice. Like it was nice to be able to find exactly what I'm looking for. It's like you're in a sea of, first off, creators. And so you're at home. But then it's also like, finance is slim. And it's like, oh, everyone I'm talking to is flying from all over the world. Where are the people that are right here? And then it's like, because of these groups, it's like I find y'all, and it's like, cool. Like this is awesome. This is amazing. So these groups were good for like putting me in contact with brands. It was good for like making connections. And it's just really cool. And then another crazy moment is just like a lot of people that I just consume, and like people I was like literally watching that morning before VidSummit. I'm like, whoa, I was just watching your video, and it's like, oh, I get to talk to them. So it's hard to pick a moment, but it's just like it was all just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I say it come from the whole Hoover app and the meetups and stuff.
Cool. We actually are going to talk about that Hoover app because, Matthew, what you experienced this year, I experienced that last year. I didn't even know what the heck a Hoover app was. And I found out about it on day 2 of last year, towards the end of the second day. And that's when I found out that all these people happened to be messaging me on the Hoover app like, oh, wow, this looks like a pretty good tool, but I didn't even know about it until day 2. And to make matters worse, that was my second VidSummit. 2023, I didn't know about it, period. So maybe that's actually some feedback that I could give them. We'll get into that later, but they should probably do a bigger job promoting the Hoover app because I feel like not enough attendees actually know about it. Because for us to have the same story and it's a year later, I think there's some room for improvement in regards to them letting us know about it. Okay. So, D'Lo, what's your most memorable moment from VidSummit 2025?
I'll say my most memorable moment was at the welcome party. So I believe you were there. It was when I hopped on the mechanical bull. Like I've always wanted to hop on a bull, and I had the opportunity. So the first time I actually went on it, I had the longest time, which is really crazy to me, just being like on the bull. And I actually met the guy that the owner of the company, and he was a really cool person. I forgot his name, but shout out to him for allowing me to have that experience. So if I wasn't at VidSummit, I probably would never have like went out of my way to do that. So VidSummit gave me the opportunity, and the amount of people I networked with was really nice.
I do remember that bull. I remember quite a few people falling off, but I'm not one to talk because I didn't get on it. I was too busy. Well, honestly, I never actually thought about getting on. I was networking heavy at the welcome party. But I think I'm living with some regret now. I probably should have got on and fell off and bust my ass like everyone else.
Yeah,
but that would have been a memory. Right. It's funny. But Rebecca, how about you? What's your most memorable moment for VidSummit 2025?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, you want to get on a mechanical bull. I mean, we're in the Dallas area. We can go to find a mechanical bull anywhere. And Dilo, you ever want to come back, we'll take you to a mechanical bull. We have them everywhere here. So my most memorable moment at VidSummit 2025, I would have to say it's when I stumped a speaker at first with one of my questions. So I went to a talk with these 3 guys who were thumbnail artists, and they were starting their own little like thumbnail program called the Thumbnail Academy. And I wanted to ask one of them about my thumbnails. So after the talk, they were all out in the hallway, and I went to talk to one of them. And one of their presentation was about the best strategy to make a thumbnail. And a lot of it was like, oh, you want to pick the most interesting moment in the video, create a thumbnail, come up with ideas about the most interesting parts of the video, come up with like different thumbnail concepts, like design a few different thumbnails, things like that. But I don't really do videos. I do live streams. And when you do live streams on YouTube, you have to have a thumbnail for every single live stream. But the thing is, like, how am I supposed to make a thumbnail when I don't even know what's going to happen in that live stream? And then on top of that, I live stream like 3 or 4 times a week. And when it comes to videos, people are posting those a lot less than live streams. So I think thumbnail strategy is like, it's a little bit different when it comes to live streams and videos. So I went and asked one of the thumbnail artists, like, hey, I do live streams. It's 3 or 4 times a week, might be the same game every time, 3 or 4 times a week for like 3 months. And then I don't even know what's going to happen in that live stream. So I can't design a thumbnail around what's happening in the video. So how do I handle that? And he was just like stumped for a second. He was like, he's like, I don't know. Like live streams are very tricky. And so he had to like think about it for a moment before he, came up with an answer. But he gave me some really good advice.
So he looked at you like that deer in the headlights kind of looked like it took a sec to like in comedy skits they'll have like that loading symbol on the first head. It's kind of like that happened.
Yeah, he was just like, he was like, live streams are really tricky. He was like, I don't know. He was like, you know what? Just show me your channel. I'll come up with some ideas.
So since you asked I'll say above average question, because for you to stump someone there, it has to be a pretty above average question. He had to give you a customized approach. Well, let me just pull up your channel. Let's take a look at it. So because you asked that type of question, you got a more intentional answer that's more suited directly to you. Nice.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I just think it's, when it comes to YouTube stuff, everything's so video focused that people are not really thinking about live streams very much. So when I'm like, oh, I do live streams and I need thumbnail ideas for live streams, he's like, live streams?
Okay, let me break down some terminology because for people who are newer to YouTube, they might be confused. Like, what's she talking about video? Like, isn't that a video? So like in YouTube, like lingo, you have shorts. Everyone kind of knows what YouTube Shorts is nowadays. It's short form content. You have videos, which that's pretty much anything that's not a live stream that's longer than like 3 minutes and it's in horizontal format nowadays. It's kind of called videos, but you could also call them long form videos. Then you have live streams, which is what we're doing here is an example of a live stream. So if you're wondering what she means by like, what do you mean? Like, what's the difference? That's essentially the difference. And each one of them requires different strategies. That's why that question probably stumped him, because he's so focused on videos instead of like live streams, since that requires a different strategy.
Yeah. And then on top of that, live streams do turn into videos.
Nicely put. So oftentimes, like once you know what the thumbnail, once you know what your live stream was about, then you can make a thumbnail based on the information that was covered in the live stream or some viral moment or something. But you don't have that information like before you start streaming. So you could always change it later. What do you do initially? And that seems like you got some benefit when you ask that question. Am I right?
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So Gregory, what's your most memorable moment in 2025?
It's an excellent question. So I'm like, I don't remember who said it. Like, it's hard to, I think it was Matthew. It's hard to really pinpoint one moment. If you're the networking king, I'm like the networking president or something. But I just networked with so many people, and I was a volunteer as well, along with a couple other people on this call, and it was a different experience. They had me at the front door registering people. I think there's multiple memorable moments. One was Tom Billieu walking up to the door. He was just coming in for just a second. I asked him if he'd get on my podcast, and he's like, "Sure, man. Hit me up on X." And I was like, "Whoa, that was easy." So that was really cool. And then day 3, it was pulling out my gimbal and deciding to finally use all of this equipment I've spent thousands of dollars on, and pulling out my gimbal and interviewing people, and just the different niches that people do YouTube in. I think a lot of people are afraid to become content creators because they think that they have to do a certain type of content, not realizing that there's people that do content about motor oil, driving crappy cars. There's finance, there's different niches of finance, there's people that are doing bridal sewing. Like, there's pretty much anything you can think of on YouTube. If there's a market that needs a solution for it, you can become the solution. And I learned a few different strategies from a few different people, and I like to combine things. So one strategy was, if you watch a video on something that you want to solve and it's not that great of a video, instead of complaining about it, could you do that video 10% better? And I got that from Adam. His YouTube channel is Random Fix, and he just looks at videos of people that are doing DIY content, and he does the videos 10% better, because a lot of DIY content is not very put together, and so he just makes it better, and that's how he succeeds. But he also told me about affiliate marketing, and I wanted to say that for Rebecca. Like, if you're going to do a live stream, think of some products that you have affiliates with, think of some things that you have to sell, and base that live stream around a problem that people have, and then offer that as a solution on that live stream. But I don't remember the name of that app that was there last year. It was something that helped you to create thumbnails with AI, and I can't remember the app. I haven't used it or anything since, and I didn't see them there this year. But one of the things they taught is that when you're making videos, you start with a thumbnail idea and you write your script from there, because then your thumbnail can actually be more tied to what that video is going to be about, because everything is based around that thumbnail. So I like to get strategies from all different types of people, and finally turning on the camera and seeing that no one was going to tell me no to an interview, because we're all content creators, and when a camera's out, we love it. That was the most memorable, is just record, start gathering content.
Gotcha. So yeah, I do remember, like, in day 3, you were really every time I walked by, essentially you were interviewing someone, like, because we passed each other several times throughout the summit, and on day 3 you were always interviewing someone. I remember I took note of that, like, wow, he's really going heavy into these interviews this year. Yeah. So Asia, what was your most memorable moment in 2025 VidSummit?
Sorry, technical difficulties. So most memorable moments. I guess, I mean, there was a lot of them, but there was a specific person I talked to. His name was Aaron Chisholm, and I just started talking to him naturally, where I was just sitting down. I needed like a break because I felt very overstimulated from just everything that was going on. And so I met him, we were talking, and then later on we just kept talking more about, like, essentially what I was trying to figure out in terms of rebranding, because I feel like that's what I was being led to. And he really just told me, like, it's not niching your content. Focus more on the niche of your audience. When you continue to break down your audience more and more and more, then you're able to figure out what content you want to do that applies to that customer. So, for example, my customer, I really want to specifically hone to Black women, specifically, women who want to, be more natural in terms of their hair, or maybe like when it comes to health benefits and stuff like that, or like fashion, beauty. So he was like, okay, so what does that look like as an audience? Okay, so now you want a Black woman. Okay, a Black woman, mostly a Black woman audience. Okay, so now what would you say? So he essentially was creating a persona. And so, like, even as a UX designer, we do create certain types of personas when it comes to storyboarding. When it comes to, like, the workflow that we're creating. So he really helped me to figure out what my persona was. And then it was like, okay, now it's like, it's very simple. Now what exactly content would apply to that person? And there was a couple of things. So, and he was like, stick to one and continue and pursue that. And then you could slowly bring in other types of like format into your videos, etc. So I thought that was like pretty profound. Like it's stuck to me ever since. And so that's really helped me when it comes to rebranding my videos and like my social media platforms and stuff like that. So that was probably the most memorable thing for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's definitely good advice because it really puts some focus. Like a lot of times as content creators, I do feel like since we can kind of make whatever we want,
Mhm.
we can become unfocused.
Mhm.
And sometimes it takes talking to some other people to refocus us into the right direction. And I think that's one of the things that VidSummit has a value in. It can really provide that balance because essentially we're in charge of making our own money. We're in charge of what we put out there. And if you don't have any structure or focus, it can easily become all over the place and too convoluted.
Yeah, and I'll also, oh, it's okay to add. I'll also add in, like, we're human. Like, we were created to create. That in in any type of structure, we were created to create. So we all have these like different ideas in our head and stuff, and sometimes it's good to just have like a narrow viewpoint at times, so you can bring other types of information in. And yeah, just meeting different people at VidSummit, like just little things like having those natural conversations, genuine conversations with people, and finding out who these people are, like not chasing the followers, not chasing the what it looks like, but having genuine natural conversations. It really helps. And you come to find out, like, oh, this person's doing this, oh, this person has this team, and you know it's, yeah. So just wanted to add that. But yeah.
And Joe says that your hair game is strong. You can see his impression.
Thank you. You know what? Thank you. That was one of the things that people kept saying. So as part of my rebranding strategy, I think I'm gonna focus more on. I'm trying to choose between hair or health and wellness. I think I can try two and see what it goes for. But thank you. Appreciate it.
Right. Karen, you said needing breaks after feeling overstimulated. Who else can relate? Me, keep it 100. Yeah, that's actually, we're gonna have a whole section of networking, a whole section about networking. I'm really excited for that. But that is something to think about. I think if you could actually schedule your breaks, it'll allow you to be more intentional about really networking because it's one thing for someone to say just network, 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 but there has to be some balance. I mean, if you don't take some breaks, then you're just going to burn out and you're not going to want to talk to anyone for like the remainder of the conference. Everyone has they know what their burnout limit is, and you can just kind of manage your energy effectively. But with that being said, the next thing that I would ask, see, a lot of y'all's most memorable moment might actually be the same answer as this question. So if it is, you can just say, "Hey Elijah, I already kind of answered that. It was my most memorable moment." And that's fine. We can move on to the next person. But I want to ask y'all, what are you struggling with most as a content creator or as a freelancer? And do you feel VidSummit was able to help you with that struggle in some way? And if so, like how was the summit able to help you? Let's start with you, Joe.
Struggling. For the first time since I started my channel, I would say there's no struggle. I already know what content I'm going to make. I already know how it's going to perform. Based on whatever topic I'm almost never surprised as far as what is going to do well and what's not going to do well. So when I do the stuff that's not going to do well, that just tends to be stuff that I'm just kind of trying to help a smaller niche of people. So I don't care how well it does because the product review stuff drives the channel. So my entire focus of coming to VidSummit was almost entirely, number one, hang out with a couple of people that, like you and a few other people, and Gregory and Nick and Nate since he showed up, and also trying to bring up other creators because I felt like the difference between last year and this year for me was last year was kind of like I was a little bit discombobulated and I was just kind of a little bit overwhelmed with stuff. This time I came in with focus. And that started even before VidSummit started. I put together a meetup group, which was just basically me explaining every single thing that I did to become full-time in 4 years, along with advice that had been given to me over the years that turned out to be not such great advice, and then other advice that I discounted that I should have leaned more into. And I had 31 people show up to that meetup. And a couple of them were people that you would think, if you look at them online, that they wouldn't have needed help. But they were people with millions of views on TikTok or whatever. But they're trying to break out into YouTube because that's where the money actually is to be full-time. And they just weren't able to do it. So it was a very, very humbling experience. I mean, I can't tell you, for people that watch your podcast that have not been to VidSummit, that are into any kind of content creation, this isn't something you can miss. This isn't optional. This is, you must go. If you want to be successful, you must go. All right?
Nicely put. Plus, I remember during the summit, you mentioned that the company that can really work on finding you brand deals and taking over that whole part of, I'll say, your creator business for you. You thought like, I might actually try this out. So at the very least, you still, even though it sounds like you showed up and you were able to give a lot of value, and you want to hang out and meet other creators, but it sounds like you might have ended up bumping into a company that could handle that part of the business that, based on what we talked about, and I'm the same way. You don't want to be over here negotiating deals with sponsors all day and emailing them and going back and forth and all that stuff. You want to be actually making content, so they might be able to just take that responsibility off for you, and you can be making them some more money.
Well, remember, I had that brand deal that fell right in my lap.
Right.
It was standing there, and they just those people with those little ovens. I mean, that is actually arriving on Monday, along with just a buttload of food for it too. And I mean,
I'm sure you won't
I
mind
don't
that.
normally do that type of stuff, but it was something that I already knew it was going to do well. So I'll take the ad revenue and the affiliate income on it, and just roll with it.
Nice. So Bronco, I know you're a pretty established video editor. You have a team and whatnot, but is there anything you've been struggling with in your business? Do you feel like VidSummit was able to contribute to alleviating that struggle in some form? Because since you're kind of like a stand-in for the freelancer that comes to VidSummit too, because there's plenty of people with services to offer that can benefit greatly from going to VidSummit too, including getting clients, etc.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I came in with the singular focus of expanding my network of people that I know as creators. And I quickly realized, there was a lot of other stuff I wanted to do too at VidSummit, but like that was priority number one. So I kind of put all that to the side and said, that's less of a priority. I just want to network and meet people. And I mean, I have to say it was like a resounding success. I mean, I met so many people, and I really leveraged that Hoova app, like on the Sunday before VidSummit, like, cause kind of going back to that, like I got the email from VidSummit or whatever from Daryl about the Hoova app, and then also that like Gabi app. And I didn't know anything about that stuff, but that was like that AI kind of like, answer the questionnaire, like what do you do? Try to be as specific as possible. So I filled that out. What are you looking for? And it matched me with people that were sort of looking for people like me to help them out. So right away, it was like it was breaking the ice with, oh, like I'm already matched with somebody. I haven't even shown up, and I'm messaging them, and I'm just like, hey, like the Gabi app like matched us up together. Like I'd love to say hi and whatever. And some of it wasn't like anything to do with really just like a lead, but it was establishing a relationship and breaking the ice, and actually kind of I am definitely a split as far as I'm an introvert normally, but I used to be a performer, so I have a switch that I turn on. So when I need to be on, I'm on. But I have to say that app helped me turn on the switch, because I didn't know a single person over there, pretty much. I did know some people, but I didn't even know that they were there until later. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I bet they're here. And then I would run into them, and it was amazing, because it was actually the first time I would meet these people in person. Because I've almost actually all my clients, with the exception of one, I've never met anybody in person. So this was such an amazing experience, because I met so many people in person. And, touching on what you said before, I think it's so important, because you get a sense of somebody's personality when you're present with them. And it doesn't come through if you're just doing like a video conference. And so that was the biggest goal that I had, was to meet people. And not only did I make like a whole bunch of like potential business leads, but I truly made friends. It's like Elijah, we had lunch the third day, Yuli and I, and it was fantastic. Like it was so nice. I mean, I've never, it's funny. I mean, I haven't met any of you. I think I saw Gregory running around, because I saw Elijah say hi to Gregory, but it's like I wouldn't have met you if I hadn't gone to VidSummit and met Elijah. And now it's like I've got however many people are on here. It's like it's new people, and we all do the same thing. So it's like it's so easy to become friends, because we all understand the same challenges that we all face. And so I would say, like, I expected VidSummit to provide that, and it exceeded my expectations of what I was hoping that it would be. So for me, like VidSummit is like I'll echo Joe's thoughts. It's mandatory. I think you have to go. If you're serious about creating, you got to go. And if you're in any space that is around content creation, whether it's directly creating content or providing a service, it's absolutely required.
And what's the name of that app? We know about Hoova, but the other one you mentioned, what's it called?
Gabi, like Gobby. And so that was part of the same, like within the same email group, it said, sign up for Gabi. Do you want to do it? It's like an AI assistant that helps like match you with people. So all throughout VidSummit, like every day it was
AI version of Business Cupid.
Oh yeah, maybe. I have no clue. I mean, this is my first time with all this stuff, so it's all new to me. But it was great. I mean, I have to say, it worked phenomenally well, because it matched me with people. Like we had serious conversations. Like it was not a joke. I was like, wow, I am getting put directly in touch with people. They really want to talk to me, and we would find time to meet, and we would go over serious conversations about, what do you need? What can I offer? And if it wasn't something that led to business, it was certainly something where it's just like, oh my gosh, well, I'm so glad to have met you anyway, because, it's somebody you can relate to, somebody you can understand. And it's just a long-term relationship already started. So.
Well, y'all heard it here. I didn't actually know about that app. So now I have something to try next year. But all these tools, that's why I do this, because people coming next year, you're gonna hear all this and be able to start off with all this stuff. You're not gonna be like me and like Matthew and like other people. We find out about it late into the conference, into the summit, and we couldn't utilize it fully. You're gonna know all this stuff right away. So that's beautiful. I appreciate you sharing that. Speaking of Matthew, so Matthew, what are you struggling with most as a creator right now, and how do you feel VidSummit was able to help you address that need or that concern?
So I would say it mostly kind of like actually producing stuff, because it's like whenever, I don't know, it's like I kind of want to speed up my workflow. So it was very helpful in like seeing what ways AI could kind of help me, seeing different ways that I can actually grow and just be more productive. Just it really helped me to get more focus, I would say.
Cool. Yeah, that's important because it kind of goes back to like what we talked about earlier. How like as content creators, it helps to have some structure, and it sounds like they were able to help you, add some structure to your endeavors to better get a result. So, Dilo, how about yourself? What do you feel like your struggle is right now, and how did VidSummit help address that?
I guess my struggle would be because I edit all my clips myself, so that takes up a lot of time. Because with music, I also do gaming content, so going in, editing all of that, that takes forever. So going at VidSummit, I saw Opus clips, I saw a whole bunch of other editing software that would literally do it for me and improve my workflow. And they showed me how to use it. I saw Adobe. They said they have a free app now, so now you can edit on your phone, and that's been helping me a lot now. And without going to VidSummit, I probably would have just let that breeze past me, and I would still be editing all this stuff myself.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of we take Opus clips for granted. 'Cause I still remember before it existed, having to do all this editing of shorts yourself. Me personally, it's just me. I actually find editing a normal video or a long form video easier than editing a short, even though a short will take less time. For whatever reason, that's how it feels to me. So the fact that Opus Clips is there as a resource to be used, oh, that's just an awesome thing.
Yeah, he brought up all my clips that I even forgot about, and it repurposed it, and that like really amazed me. I'm like, yeah, this is something I need in my workflow, and that really helped me out.
Right, right. So Rebecca, what kind of struggle have you been dealing with as a creator, and how did VidSummit help you with that?
Well, I think like many other creators, one of my biggest struggles is kind of feeling discouraged with my channel. Like, how come my channel isn't doing better? Like, why aren't I a full-time streamer or content creator by now? And going to VidSummit, I can guarantee you, if you go to VidSummit, you will come away from VidSummit being extremely motivated. Like, if you go to those talks, you talk to other creators, you will leave VidSummit being like all in on your channel. Like if you felt discouraged like I did, you're like, why is my channel doing better? You come out of VidSummit, you are going to your channel and you are like spending tons of time like on your content, editing, posting, like you are so motivated. So VidSummit really helps me to, one, feel better about my channel, that your channel is probably doing a lot better than you think. You're only seeing, the bad things. And then two, it's really just helps to motivate you. So generally my favorite speakers are the ones that go into how they started and their background, because I think when we look at channels with thousands or millions of subscribers, we just kind of assume that's where they started. Like, oh, they just started a channel and they all of a sudden just had thousands and millions of subscribers. Like, we don't see any of their failures. So one of the things that really helps me at VidSummit is when the speakers go over all their struggles and their failures before they got to where they are. And that really helps me put things into perspective.
Okay. The energy thing. it's kind of like we as content creators, like with batteries, and the battery starts to run low, right? But we'll go to something like VidSummit, and it's just a charger, and we come out full battery, fully charged, and just we come out swinging, right? Okay. So, Asia, what struggle are you dealing with as a content creator, and how do you feel VidSummit helped you address that?
It was rebranding, like what I said earlier. It was
Okay.
I hear like there's like echo, but yeah, it was just rebranding. It was just certain audiences that I had, and I really wanted to attract more like women on my channel, attract more Black women, um, and yeah, it was the conversations I just had with individuals that helped me to like figure out, okay, if I like stick to certain types of videos, and even like like I'm a beautiful woman. I like as a woman, a beautiful woman, you should know like I know who I am and what I can attract and stuff. And so like when it comes to having a male audience, like I don't think there's anything wrong with having that. It's just knowing how to use that. Like, for example, hey, you have more of a male audience, okay? Being able to be like, okay, try the new stuff. Like, why don't you do like a video where it's like, I go fishing for the first time, or outdoor videos, or like adventurous videos where it's like, like a different type of rebrand, if you get what I'm saying. Like, so that's what I was just trying to figure out. Like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the certain audiences that you naturally attract. It's how do you benefit off of that audience, and like the best way that works for you or makes you feel comfortable, you know. So that's yeah. I would say those are the stuff that I was really frustrated with early on with myself because I didn't know what to do. And I just encourage like anybody who is frustrated with that, be open. And I'm talking to women, specifically, be open to those conversations, like be honest about your content, what you're doing and the videos you're making, and don't be just be confident in you, and seek that advice because the right people are going to give it to you. There's no judgment behind it. And I did meet, a few women that I met that were beauty creators. They were going through this similar frustrations like I was going through. So, there's a community there. Just be confident about the stuff you're going through, and like just be open to advice. Ask. It's always okay to ask for help. Yeah.
Nicely put, especially the ask for help part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Gregory, what struggles have you felt you've been dealing with as a content creator, and how did VidSummit help to address that?
That's an excellent question. I've been thinking about a couple struggles.
One of them, actually, let me rephrase the question because this will help pick one above all. What was your epiphany moment? That's another way of rephrasing the question, because there's probably some that a struggle that's risen above all of them, and then you had like something that just it clicked for you to have an epiphany. That's an epiphany moment. So, what was your epiphany moment?
I'm gonna piggyback off what Asia said. Ask for help. It's the struggle has been, I can create content, I can go live, I can network like crazy, I can meet a bunch of people, but following up with those people, editing the content, like I can record all day, I can talk all day, but when it comes time to sitting down and actually doing the stuff behind the scenes to run the business, if I just had a team that held the camera, edited my content, and like followed me around while I was doing me, it would be perfect. And when I was on the live stream with Stephanie Garcia after VidSummit, because I met her there when she got off stage, and we had an excellent conversation, then an even better live stream that ended up being, it was supposed to be a pre-recorded episode. It ended up being a 2-hour live stream, and it was fabulous. There were so many people asking to work with her. And like the engagement is everything. There was a lot of people engaging in that live. I don't usually get that many engagements, but a lot of people had tuned in and were watching and stayed from beginning to end. If I just, and Opus Clips is amazing for making short form content, but I can make a bunch of short form content off a long form content that was never released because it's so much easier than just editing. And so sometimes I just feel like, screw the hook, screw all the stuff they tell us to do to make the video, just put it out there and You know, if people are rocking with me, they'll watch it. But I know that's not realistic in the world of YouTube. Like, you have to have that first 30 seconds. There are people that spend hundreds of thousands to get that first 30 seconds right. Because if you cannot attract them in that first 30 seconds and hook them, you're not going to keep them.
Yeah.
And I guess the epiphany is you can know a whole lot and you can try to go it alone, but it's getting in communities like this with other content creators that are on the same path as you, that understand you. If you get in circles of people like that, just like with anything else, anywhere I've surrounded myself with the people that were doing the thing, I ended up eventually succeeding. But when we try to be content creators and business owners around people that don't think like that or don't do what we do, it kind of tends to discourage us. So ask for help, get around the right people, and
sounds like community is the summary of that, am I right?
Yeah, community. That's it.
Okay. So Yulia, before you answer the question, how about you introduce yourself and what your channel's about, so people can check it out and go subscribe.
Sure. First of all, so nice to see everybody here again. So I'm Yuli, and currently I have a channel that's called Engineer Your Fleet, and it's just a side gig that I was doing, and I had started thinking about getting into YouTube, and I did one of those videos and it did pretty well, so I kind of kept that going 3 years ago, got it monetized really quickly with like 8 videos. So but unfortunately in the last 3 years I haven't had much time, so I mean, it's still growing. It's at like 2,900. But anyway, hopefully I can start giving that a little bit more love soon. But I'm hoping to get my tech channel going very soon, which is the real thing that I wanted to do. So my background is I'm a computer engineer. And so I've spent my whole life like just answering these questions, automating things for people, optimizing. Like I have to stop myself from like trying to make everything that I see in everyday life better. So anyway, so that's what I'm hoping my channel. I'm hoping to get my channel started, and really a membership. That's like my core. I want to build a membership where people can just come in and like put actually put to practice like what they see on the internet, right? They're seeing all these things every day, but like then they go back home and try it and they're like, yeah, I have no idea. So hopefully this channel is a place where people come and like actually like try and say, hey, I tried this thing I saw on some channel and it doesn't work, help me out. So that's my hope, and very soon. And sorry, what was the question? I actually was watching you guys, by the way. I just wasn't able to log in early on, but I did see everything from the beginning, so it's really cool.
Okay.
Love all the conversations so far.
Oh, appreciate it. But yeah, the question was, what are you struggling with as a content creator, and how do you feel VidSummit helps to solve that problem?
Honestly, I think my thing is just time. Like I've already watched every possible Nick Nimmin, Roberto Blake, Nate video like you can possibly watch in the last 3-4 years. I think my thing has just been time, and I've had some family things going on, some health things. So hopefully I can, but really VidSummit gave me what I needed, which is that motivation, that networking. It also helps me every single time. This is my 3rd one, and every single time, I think this is my favorite. I think this is the first time that I've spoken as much as I did to people. I've met the most amount of people, I think. I've just gained so much more and not valuable data, because like I said, I think a lot of us know a lot of the things that we're hearing there, right? But this unique information that you get from every single person that you meet there is incredible. Unique perspectives. I met great people. This was the first time that I went by myself, even though I've known Elijah now for a few years because of VidSummit. We met in the first one. But it was the first time that our girlfriend didn't go. So it was great because the first day I actually ran into a group of girls getting on the shuttle from the hotel. So that was amazing. And then from there on, I just met so many wonderful people. Rebecca, Asia, Greg I already knew. I think Della, like, so everybody, Joe, it was great talking to everybody. And I think it's that motivation. It's great to see. And I'll just say this one last thing is, I always say the VidSummit is so unique in that you have all these conferences out there, right? You have like the health conferences, you have the tech conferences, you have the entrepreneurship, right? But VidSummit is the one where we all share this one common, unique aspect of ourselves, which is content creator, or around that area, like Branko. But then we all have like these crazy ass like focuses that we're actually like is our everyday focus, right? Like the person I met that's like, oh, I train wild mustangs, like I do cooking, even though so that's the one thing that I think it's a crazy unique experience in that aspect. And it gave me what I needed, which was just the motivation that I think we all need.
All right. So kind of similar to what Rebecca said, at that content creator battery, it kind of acts as a recharge.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. This is actually a nice segue into the second part of this stream, which is networking. But people want me to share my epiphany moment because in my newsletter, I've kind of been teasing it. So here, I'm going to go into it, but it's going to be kind of brief. So long story short, I actually almost didn't end up going to VidSummit this year. And it's because Gregory knows a little more about this because we talked offline. But I recently, as of like maybe a few, like 2 weeks before VidSummit, one of my friends invited me to a private real estate event. And what ended up happening from that, I ended up getting involved in the RIA. That stands for Real Estate Investment Association here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And it costs a pretty penny to get in there because you have access to investment deals, not just single family, but multi-family deals, and as well as a network of investors that can fund your real estate projects, provided you can provide the numbers and find the deals, etc. And you can just look at Gregory's face to determine, like, okay, it was a lot of money. I'm not going to say it here, but I got involved in that, and it's been working out great. But I did that, and essentially I hadn't got my ticket yet. And now I started kind of freaking out because it's like 2 weeks away. Like, oh gosh, well, like I don't have the money for it anymore. Like, what am I going to do? And then I had to kind of slap myself like, Elijah, you're the king of side hustles. You're not a freaking employee. Act like it. And out from inside of me, the younger Elijah did. Y'all don't know me when I'm not speaking like some old man. Mid-20s Elijah is different from me now, and I'm 33. I was heavy into hustling. I was heavy into sales. I was just very aggressive with it. I was doing MMA at the time. And from that spat in my mid-20s, I launched the Veggie Outers, grew it into where there's 10, 15, 20 people at a single meetup. I wrote The Anatomy of Financial Success. And I started my first YouTube channel, which this on the Side Hustler Society. And it's like that person that was dormant came back because he had to. And I immediately started thinking, okay, how can I make this money fast? So I contacted some of my old clients as a video editor, like, hey, I'm just being honest, there's a summit I really need to go to. Is there any work that you need done? And if there's no work you need done now, let's say you need work done next month, could you pay me now? And whenever it's ready, I'll have it done within 24 to 48 hours, no charge for like a fast rate. And my clients ended up coming through with that. So I was able to go ahead and get a VidSummit ticket. But I was feeling so just energized. I really felt like I was in my mid-20s again. And that's why I showed up with my beard shaven, because I used to have a shaven beard. My facial hair used to be shaven. It used to have locks. I was really feeling like that energy. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and ride this. And when I went to a VidSummit, normally I'm a sociable person anyway, but I will say it was kind of on steroids for this one because I could not turn it off. And my epiphany moment was the reason that came back is because I had a reason to be hungry. I got complacent. Success can make you complacent. And that's why it's very important to always reevaluate your goals. Get into circles that kind of force you to expand your worldview so you can keep at least some of that hunger, because that's what's going to really motivate you to get out there, make the relationships happen, make the money, etc. That was my epiphany moment. I didn't realize I slowly lost that throughout the years because to some degree I have become successful. So that's my epiphany moment. Take from that what y'all will, folks. Yeah, hunger is a good thing, especially as a content creator. But with that being said, we're going to get into probably my favorite part. And this is involving networking. So people watching this video, some of y'all watching live, and we appreciate y'all. But other people are going to see this leading up to next year's VidSummit, and they might be wondering, how can you leverage VidSummit like the best? Because it costs, well, at the time of this recording, it's $1,000. Maybe it's more by the time we come around next year. So how do you get the most return on your investment? And the biggest way to do that is to meet as many people as possible, connect with them, and network. But some people actually don't know how to do that because there is a process. So what I want to ask from every single person, I'm going to ask y'all some questions in regard to networking, because we all have different styles of how we met people. How do you actually network? And people can take that information and use it for when they go to VidSummit next year. Because someone's style is going to be compatible with them. Like my style might not work for them, but Joe's style may work. Gregory's style may work for them. So they can take, we got a diverse catalyst of personalities here. Someone's style is going to work. So with that being said, Joe, we'll start with you. Let's say if there's a group of people, for whatever reason, you want to start talking to them, how do you enter that conversation?
Well, as far as VidSummit goes, I just walked right up into the conversation. And I had a hard time with that before, and I'm not that extroverted. A lot of that is an act. So just walk right up into the conversation, because that's what VidSummit is, and you have to remember that everyone's expecting you to do that there. So you're not interrupting people's. I mean, if you're like you and you're in the middle of interviewing somebody, that's not the same thing. But there's a group of people standing around, you just go up and say hi. That, and I use the Wova app a lot. In case you guys didn't see that, I interacted with every single person that came to VidSummit, back and forth. So there was a big conversation there with everybody that I talked to before I even saw them at the convention. And then it just became, hey, you know what? We're going here. We're going to have lunch. We're going to do this. We're all going to get together. And then when I got them together, I just keep my mouth shut and listen. Ask them about their channels and let them talk about their channel and their struggles and everything else. And if they wanted to ask me a question about something, they could. And if not, I was just there to soak it in and see what other people are doing. And sometimes I even picked up some great information for myself as well, just by keeping my ears open, which is a thing that I have had problems with in the past, where you want to talk and you're not really paying attention to people when they're talking to you. It's an issue that I've always tried to kind of work on, and over recent years I've gotten a lot better at it, and I've been able to grow as a person a lot more too.
Nice. I do have to ask for maybe just a little more specifics. So, like, what kind of icebreaker would you use? You just walk up to a group of people, they're talking. Like, what would you say? Just like as an example. Like an example for me is I'll literally walk in a group of people and say, "Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Elijah, but I don't want to derail the conversation. Do y'all mind if I join in?" "Oh yeah, coming in." "Well, what y'all talking about?" "Oh, we're talking about such and such." Then they continue the conversation, but now I'm a part of it. So that's my example. But what would you say to a group of people if you want to, get involved with them as you walk up?
Well, usually I kind of just try to find something that would be an icebreaker that's involved with somebody that happens to be in that group. Like Asia's got that awesome hair. So if she was in a group, I would just walk right up and say, "Hey, you know what? Pardon me. I just had to mention that your hair is crazy awesome and whatever." And then right from there, I could just say, "Hey, what are you guys talking about over here?" And then you're right into the conversation. You start with a compliment for somebody, as long as it's a real, genuine, actual comment, not just something that you're saying to get into somebody's conversation, because that's very obvious when you're just doing that. But in her case, it would be freaking totally legit. See, and I even noticed that she has a cat right there too, because I could see the ear right there on the edge, which makes her better people because she has a cat.
He's doing the same thing on the stream. So this is actually a good example.
Well, it's just like that. It comes, that kind of thing kind of comes naturally to me. So, I tend to talk a little bit too much. So, I could try to keep it to a minimum on your stream here. But I just like interaction with people. And it's become a bigger and bigger part of me. And it's also one of the reasons why my engagement is so high on my YouTube channel. because I really do have an emotional interest in what people say in the comment sections and stuff. So if they're not like people being trolls or something, I try to answer everybody's comments. It's just fun. You know what I mean? And you get to learn things about people from other places that you'd never know. It's just great. I mean, the community is great. That's also one of the reasons why I just love VidSummit so much. Getting around other creators really is a bigger deal than people really think about. You know, when we are pretty isolated when we're making our videos, even if you're married or whatever, your spouse does not understand that work because they can't unless they're doing it. It's brutal sometimes, but you got to do it.
Indeed. Yeah, because Yuli was here for this, but yeah, this year there's actually I saw people. This was at the welcome party. And this is why I want to have a whole section about networking. Like they wanted to talk to people, and then they would circle the roof like multiple times and not end up talking to anyone. And then I would ask them like, so did you talk to anyone? Like, well, no, I didn't see anyone alone. Like the only people that were alone were the people that wanted to be alone. Like they're sitting at this table, like maybe catching up on something on their phone. So they're not engaging for a reason, but then they get up and go engage. So like you're not going to talk to anyone doing laps, finding someone that's going to be alone. So you got to have some way of jumping in a group.
You know, Elijah, there's actually just one last little note. Um, I ran into an awful lot of people at VidSummit, the creators, and you can tell who they are. You're walking around and they're just kind of like this, and they're afraid to talk to people. I even came to a couple of my little meetups and stuff where they're just kind of trying to listen and get the information, but they are so scared. And those are the people I walk up to immediately because that is somebody who just wants to get to have interaction with people.
Yeah.
And you just come up and you just introduce yourself and you just start asking them questions about themselves. And they open up. It's a beautiful thing to see, man.
It is. I did this with a few people where I saw them. Well, I know what I'd have said, like no one is alone, but I'm being kind of facetious. There's some people, like Joe mentioned, that are just kind of huddled in this little bubble, especially the first day. Second, third, they just start to come out of it a little more because the social juices start getting flowing. But when I see them in that little bubble, I'll go and talk to them, and then I'll convince them to actually talk to other people in groups. And we'll move on to a Bronco in a sec. And I actually showed quite a few people there during the welcome party. Look, just watch me go and strike up a conversation in this group. And then they watch it like, oh, that's so amazing. Okay, so this time you're going to do it with any group that you can pick. Pick whichever group of people you want, go up there and you can steal my words. Just say the same thing. And they did it and they see that, oh, I didn't instantly die because I talked to a group of people. It was actually a fun experience. Well, let me do it again and again and again. So yeah, but Bronco, I see you smiling. So I'm assuming you got something to say on this topic. If you want to talk to a group of people, how do you do it? What's your icebreakers? How do you enter the conversation?
Okay, well, first I gotta get it out because on the welcome party on the Tuesday night, I bombed. It was a disaster. Where were you? Like I needed to find you Tuesday night because I was that guy wandering around, just like trying to find an opening. And like I have to say, like Tuesday, like during the day, I was on fire. Like it was so easy. I was talking with people, having really meaningful conversations. And I was like, and by the time the party came, if VidSummit had ended that afternoon, I would have considered it a success because I already had spoken to so many people. But I don't know, like I just don't do well like in party environments. I'm much better when it's more intimate, a smaller group. I felt like, again, like I know everything what you're saying. Like I could have done those things. I could have stepped in and said those things. But it felt like during the party, it I don't know, like for me, like I had a hard time. I did talk to some people, but it was like, I don't know, it was just so different for me. And that part was a struggle. But apart from that, it was so easy because, I mean, I'm so passionate about this business. It's like, it's incredible to me that this exists. I mean, I so enjoy what I do and who I work with. It's like I'm friends with all my clients, and I couldn't say that before in my previous, profession. I was a general contractor. I had my own construction company. I hated it. Here, I can talk with people and share my passion, and I think that was the icebreaker for me. Like, because I would just listen and I would hear somebody talk about what they're going through, and I would just simply say, like, "Oh, have you ever thought about trying this?" Like, I find, I have a use case, like, where somebody had that problem, and we answered that problem kind of doing this. Like, what do you think of that? Would that might work for you? And more often than not, that was like it. You offer one piece of value to somebody, and it's like, that's it. You're instantly like bonded, and you start going back and forth like it's nothing. And I think the other thing too is that everybody expects to network there, and because everybody understands each other, I think it's a lot easier than what people might think. Like, I was really nervous coming into it, not knowing what to expect. But I found it remarkably easy during like the first 2 days with the networking, because of the meetups, and it was so great because you connect with somebody at one meetup, and then it's like you become buddies, and it's like, oh, you want to hop over to the next one, and then you go together. And then it's like you don't feel alone because you got a buddy, and you immediately jump in with another group, and it's like then you make more buddies, and it's like, oh yeah, this is interesting, this is happening in an hour, I want to go see that. And then you hop on with another buddy, and the previous buddy, you're like, I'll catch you later. It's like, it's all good. And I think they make it really easy, honestly. And again, I mean, case in point with that Tuesday night, I mean, I am an introvert by nature, so for stuff like that, I tend to struggle. But it's like, it really didn't matter. It really didn't matter. I think also too, I was tired. I mean, because I wasn't expecting to go so hard, and I was so excited. I mean, I just had so much fun talking with people that I think come Tuesday night, it's just like the vibe shifted completely, and I was already tired. I mean, I'd flew in that morning. I mean, I woke up at 2 a.m. to get there. So like, now in hindsight, I was tired. So I think that had something to do with it. But yeah, I think you'll find, if you've never been, or if you're really self-conscious about approaching people, I mean, I find that it's like, if you love this business, these other everybody else there loves it too. So it's really easy when you have a shared interest to connect with people. And I think everybody there's, I mean, I never met one person who like shunned me, or everybody was welcoming. Everybody wanted to know who I was. And likewise, I want to know what you do. And it was so fun seeing what people like are into and what they make a channel out of. I mean, I met a guy who was making parody songs, sort of like Weird Al, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and immediately I'm thinking, how do you do that? Like, what are your struggles? And it was so easy to kind of like get into a deep conversation. So, I don't know. If you like content creation, you come to an event like this, I think you're going to find that it's a lot easier. At least that was my experience. It was way easier than I thought it would be. So.
Cool. You brought up something that is underrated. Put together a VidSummit crew. You said the first person that you meet, like, hey, let's go on to another like group of people. And that's one way of doing it. Another way is, if you're gonna do the circle of the room, let's go hunt down people who are just like kind of in their shell. Go talk to them and recruit them to be part of the VidSummit crew. Before you know it, you're gonna have a group of like probably 3 to 5 people. Like, okay, so we're a crew now. Let's get going. I mean, I think I coined the phrase, and Yuli will keep dismissing this, but me and her are the co-founders of our little VidSummit crew. Yeah. But I do want to say real quick, for the audience. If y'all have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We'll be sure to pull them up on the stream, especially in regards to networking. Like, is there something like you feel nervous about when it comes to going up and talking to people? Feel free to express it. And you have a whole panel of people who essentially went to a networking type event and got good results. So we have good advice to give. So Matthew, you want to get your network on. There's a group of people you want to talk to. How do you go about it?
If there is a group of people there, I'm gonna be real. I'm a little awkward, but I'm real big on kind of embracing the awkward and just kind of doing it. So if there is a group of people and I really want to be there with them, I might just kind of like stand there and like lurch. And then it's like, if we make eye contact, usually give a little smile, and then it's like, oh, hey, and then try to get in like that. But I'm gonna say, when it came to like networking and all that, especially like first night when it came, I very much feel the same as Bronco. Like I would say I'm pretty introverted myself. And that was like overwhelming. Like I came on my own, and then like I'm just there walking around. I'm like, I don't have a problem like going up to somebody and talking to them, but it's like I didn't even know where to start. I'm like, yo, there are all these people. So I'm just like, I'm one of those people circling around. I'm like, oh, what do I want to do? I'm like D-Lo, like I'm like, oh yeah, there's a bull there. That's something for me to do while I'm there. And then it's like after I get the hat, I'm like, yo, I'm still overwhelmed. I don't know who I want to talk to, so I'm just chilling. So naturally, like how I make connections is I will usually go to a more quiet area. I will kind of show that I'm open. I'll like lean against the wall, but I'll make sure I'm not on my phone. It's like, hey, I'm here.
Great
I got a
advice.
smile on my face, but I'm not on my phone. I'm just not with all that loudness. And I'll find
this, ban it unless you're pointed out to give someone your number or something. You might want to make more connections. Ban this, do it while you're out trying to meet people, because that'll be the reason someone doesn't approach you. But go ahead.
No, yeah, I usually just find like, just me standing somewhere leaning. It's like I'm usually just visual. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I'm usually like pretty confident just being somewhere, because I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. Let's observe. And then usually somebody will just like kind of, I don't know, will like lock eyes, and then it's like they'll usually like come over and just say what's up. So that's usually how things go for me. But yeah, that's not honestly. I did like have a lot of conversations at that what was it, the welcome party after the fact. Like, I don't know, it's like if you're somebody that's not like extroverted and you want people to talk to you, wear something interesting. After I rode that cowboy, or after I rode the bull and put that cowboy hat on, a lot of people are like, oh, you must be from Texas. And I just happened to be from Texas, but they just assumed I was from Texas because I had a cowboy hat on, and that started a lot of conversations. So yeah, so if you're not too extroverted, having like something like a statement piece, that can be helpful too.
Okay, that's good advice. That's actually going to be something I'll get into when I share my advice on networking. I'm going to be going last, but I don't have to anymore because you just mentioned it. Wear something eccentric, maybe something that's a good reflection of your personality, and people will come up and just to ask you about, hey, that's an interesting shirt, or like, oh, that's funny what you're wearing. It's a great conversation starter, and that is a hack for introverts. Like if you just wear something that maybe centers around your principles, your beliefs. Like I know sometimes I don't seem it, but I am Well, I'm technically an ambivert, but some people say that's a cop out. You got to be introverted or extroverted. I've taken the test. 40% extroverted, 60% introverted. So technically, I'm an introvert. But if you're wearing something that I wear vegan merch all the time, so people will walk up like, "Oh, you're vegan." So if they're interested in veganism, that's a conversation starter. So, yeah, But we'll go ahead and go to D'Lo, and you got some people that are vouching for your approach, D'Lo. So I'm really interested to hear how you approach this.
I mean, to be honest, I'm an introvert myself, but I told myself before coming to this event, like, if this is really what you want to do, if you really want to talk to people, you really have to express yourself. Like, you're not only networking like yourself or like what you're doing, but you're networking yourself. You have to be approachable. You got to stand up straight. You got to be like, you actually want to be there, and you got to talk to people no matter what. Even any conversation starts, hey, I like your shoes, and then go from there. Don't just stop the compliment from there. Just continue talking. Oh, well, what do you do? And then you're going to have more leeway going into that. Always like listen to what people are telling you. Like how having a buddy works, and I had my friend, we had our cameras out, we were streaming throughout the whole welcome party, and that was also a good conversation starter. You got people seeing the camera, they're like, oh, are you on stream? And then like, say what's up, chat, and then they get excited and like, hey, shout yourself out on the channel, and then tell them what you do, and then boom, we get into conversation right there. It's the little things. You just gotta really express yourself. You gotta be the person you want to be. Promote yourself as you want.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, you were streaming a lot during the welcome party and the after party too. We'll get into the after party later, but
Yeah.
So Rebecca, how do you go about networking at when you at VidSummit? Like, there's a group of people you want to talk to. How do you go about it, or you want to enter the conversation?
Yeah, so kind of like Joe, I'll just go up there, be like, "Hi, I'm Rebecca." So I have a friend that does this, not a content creator, but this is actually how I met him. I was out at a restaurant and I was talking to a group of people, and he literally just walked up and went, "Hi, I'm Brad," and he just like joined the conversation. Like he's so good at it, and so now I'm just like I channel that Brad energy. Like I just go up there, "Hi, I'm Rebecca," and then because we are at VidSummit, we all have the same reason to be there. So I like to ask things like, what's your channel about? Or what kind of content do you do? I mean, not everyone is there to do like, not everyone there is doing content. Sometimes they're coming because they work for a brand or a company, or they're editors or something like that. But that's still information you can find by asking like, what kind of content do you do? And then I also like to ask like, have you been to VidSummit before? And so I feel like those are very easy segues into conversations. Another thing I like to do is connect with people ahead of time. So I like to go on Twitter and LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is actually a really good resource. And I think it's really underrated for VidSummit. And I know Roberto Blake promotes using LinkedIn a lot. Like he loves using LinkedIn. And so I go on LinkedIn and Twitter, and I literally just I type in the search bar VidSummit, and I sort by like the latest posts, and people will be tweeting and posting on LinkedIn and Twitter, like, who's going to VidSummit? And then I'll reply to those and I'll be like, I'll be there. And then if you recognize somebody, like add them on Twitter or LinkedIn. And then if you recognize them, just walk up to them at VidSummit and be like, hey, I follow your Twitter, or I found you on LinkedIn. And I mean, people are very receptive to that.
That's a good point. Who said the networking has to start when you enter the door at VidSummit? There's a lot of pre-networking that can be done. So you can be making connections before you get there. And then you see these connections in the flesh. You walk up and, hey, it's nice to see you in person. Oh, yeah, we were interacting like we were talking like weeks ago. Or you could even, how about this? You could have a VidSummit crew before you even walk in the door. Hey, so how about we all meet in person, like, I guess like at the front entrance or something at this time, and then y'all all meet in person, and then boom, you have a VidSummit crew right from the get-go. So, yeah, I think that's underrated. So, Asia, how about you? When it comes to networking, conversations happening in front of you, you want to get in on it. How do you go about it?
Yeah, I think this is something Joe touched on earlier, when he was talking about being genuine. Um, and I follow suit with that. I mean, I'm someone like that. Um, I don't know. I lead with intention, and that's it. That's what I've learned to do. Like I speak as a woman. I mean, as a woman, yeah. Like, because when I always talk, I always want to keep in mind if there is a young woman in this space listening. That's why I talk the way I do. But anyway, I always lead with intention. I've learned to always lead with intention. I don't typically like plan out exactly what I want to do when I get into networking spaces and such. I've really just went through life gaining that type of confidence to be like, I am who I am. This is me. And I'm going to go in leading with intention of growth. And so when I get in those spaces, it's more of just like, this is me. I'm Asia. Hi, nice to meet you. I don't typically go in like searching and like doing a circle search. Not saying it's wrong, but for me, that's personally what I don't do. I just I don't know. It's like a natural gravitation towards people. Um, just depending even on the day. Um, like what I was just saying earlier, when I felt overstimulated, I sat down, I was catering to myself, just being like thinking of those things, and somebody so happened to sit next to me and come to find out he was like partnering with TikTok and now he has his own company with branding. Like I believe in God. I'm a spiritual person, so I lead with faith, right? So even with networking and getting to know people, I lead with faith in that regard. So even when I met Elijah, I wasn't looking around, or I sat down. I didn't really want to dance or party, and he came to me and we sat down. We started talking. Even with Yuli, it was the same thing. It was the same genuine experience. That's somebody I am, and I always encourage people that I meet, just be genuine. Just be you. It's okay to be you. You know, someone's gonna love you. Someone's gonna be attracted, when it comes to finances, etc., to you just because you are you. You're created the way you were, right? The way you are. So that's how I lead. I lead with intention. And as a woman, I always push lead with intention and let it go. Keep it with there. I met another woman she told me she ended up being someone who advocates for women who do creative content. She helps them when it comes to cyberbullying. She's like there when they're going through, when they're getting harassed, etc. And I actually experienced something that same day on social media, and I happened to have met her. And she ended up telling me, you know what? I don't even go into a room and try to plan everything out. I just lead with intention and go from there. And I so happened to met her. And I actually had a genuine conversation with her about something that happened on social media with me. And I even started tearing up and crying. And like, I just like, that's just how I am. Just be genuine, just be you. And yeah, I learned, I met so many different people, even people you don't even think like have, like if it's just a normal, like for example, Facebook, owner of Facebook, right? Mark Zuckerberg, like he wears flip-flops, pants, and like a t-shirt, and you know what I mean? Like I happened to walk by Matt Barnes at YouTube at the VidSummit. Like this is I was like, and I had the courage to like, hey, can I get a picture with you? Can I say hi? Like you never know. Even there was somebody who was really young in our volunteering group. And you know what? I saw him and was like, what you doing? And he was like, I don't know. And you're like, well, I heard there's some food over here. We went to go get food. I end up meeting his whole team, working with like millions of YouTube followers. Like it was just out of nowhere. It wasn't like I was essentially, I mean, specifically looking for it, but it was more of just like, I'm in this moment. I'm leading with intention, with growth, and I'm just being myself and being genuine and follow the food. People love food. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, one thing you said is real powerful is be authentic, be yourself. I think it's important to say that when we're talking about networking. Sometimes people put on a mask and try and be someone else, and that's just not going to work. So if you're quirky, be quirky. If you're outgoing, be outgoing. Be yourself. It's going to come off very genuine. People will be able to feel it, and people will be able to rock with that. But if you're fake, that's going to turn people off instantly, and they're going to be finding reasons to exit the conversation because you're not being authentic.
Exactly. People aren't don't judge people. Like, don't think, oh, this person's dumb enough to not pick it up. Like, people are smart. We're all smart people in the same space. So we can pick up when someone's being genuine. We can pick up when someone's being fake. When someone's just like, oh, like, you like, follow me, or just, it's just weird. Like, just be cool. It's gonna come to you, at the right time. So that's what I always like to preach. But yeah, I agree, Elijah.
Cool. So Gregory, you know the question. I think everyone wants to hear what you got to say. So how do you penetrate the conversation if you want to get involved in it?
I'm never going to let you live down talking about that like that.
Well, that's why I worded it that way, just to troll you, but go ahead.
But embrace the awkward, right? So I love what everyone's had to say. I'm typically that person that looks for the person that is circling. I'm laughing over here because Stephanie, I sent her a message to hop on. She said, smile if you're not being held hostage. Embrace the awkward. Be you. Like, I typically can sense the energy of someone I need to be around. And if I'm talking to a group of people, I do this thing called the name game. So I'll walk up, I'll ask this person their name. Hey, Asia, it's great to meet you. What do you do? Oh, Asia's a UX designer. That's cool. And then I'll see Yuli lurking off at the corner and be like, I know she wants to come over here. So I'll just invite her and be like, hey, Yuli, have you met Asia? And then I'll introduce them and tell them each about something they do. And then I see another person, Dilo. I see you over there. You don't look like you want to talk to someone. Have you met Asia and Julie or Yuli? And I just keep doing it until I create these little crop circles of people talking that wouldn't have talked. And then once they're talking, they don't even realize I've walked off and started doing it again. Now, when you go to a networking event, if you start creating crop circles of people and you start connecting them, one, you get to know everyone, their name, what they do. And if you're more interested in being interesting, you will be the more interesting person by default. You don't even have to try to be interesting. You just have to be interested genuinely in other people and what they do. And then you create enough crop circles, you get to know everyone. And then by the time the networking event starts, or the thing gets going, they think you're the host because you were the most hospitable person. So what typically happens is when I go to events, people think I'm someone in charge or someone important, because I've created all these circles and I know everyone. But I'm just this person that's curious to a fault. I can't help but want to learn more about people, and I guess I'm like a human icebreaker. There is no awkward around me.
You should coin that phrase, human icebreaker. Belongs to Gregory Routledge, aka G Wiz.
I'm gonna forgive you for pronouncing my name like that. You sound like a telemarketer.
I guess I'm just the ultimate troll to you today.
You got to get me back for making fun of your veggie burger. I mean,
I hadn't thought about it. Maybe it was subconscious.
It is subconscious, man. It's okay. That's why we roll together. So that's like kind of my thing. The other thing is, like, there's no one size fits all way to network, right? You kind of got to read the vibe, read the room. If someone's got amazing hair like Asia, or someone's got a really cool shirt on that says Joe's phenomenal, and you're like, why is Joe phenomenal, right? It kind of brings you in. There's things you can do. Like, I was not always this way. I was very awkward. I was very introverted. And I don't think it's a cop-out to say you're an ambivert, because I think we both have both batteries inside us, and they're charged by different things, right? So, like, introversion versus extroversion is just how you recharge your batteries. It's not how you interact with people, because most of us, let's be real, we're much better in community. Whether it's, like, it may be awkward at first, it may be uncomfortable at first, but once we get to know a person and that ice is broken, we're much better together than we are lurking, circling around the circles of people, right? We are much better when we're connected. And so, read what's happening and then try to insert yourself with a question. And again, I might be a little biased. I'm questioning everything, right? So ask a question about something. What's that shirt mean? Why do you wear your hat? You know, you said you do music, all types of music. What's your favorite? Rebecca, you do live streams. What about? You know, like when you find out something about someone, find out something else about someone. Another one that I'll say is, if someone's having a conversation, I don't know about y'all, I have ADHD. I can hear everything happening around me. And so I'll hear something in a conversation and save it for later when I walk up to them and be like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help but eavesdrop because y'all were talking about something I'm interested in. And then you mention that thing and then your take on it. And now you're automatically like in their field of vision because you are talking about something that they were talking about, and they see that you're an attentive person. So I don't know if that's possible for everyone, but I think it is. I think if you're genuinely interested in other people, you'll be accepted wherever you go, because people's favorite topic to talk about is themselves. So if you give them that opportunity to talk about themselves, what's going to happen is they're going to have a mini therapy session with you. They're going to talk. They're going to have a revelation. And when that veil is lifted, guess who's standing there as a result of them having their breakthrough? Yes, you are the miracle person.
Nicely put. I do want to direct people to Gregory's been on the podcast before, and we did a show specifically on how to network at high ticket events. So check that out. And I've also done I've done a podcast on how to network and grow your social skills. So I'm gonna leave both of those in the description. But before we go to Yuli, I do want to answer Joe's question. What were the fries cooked in? It was cooked in soybean oil. I actually asked. But after Yuli answers her question, we're gonna go on to the last question because I don't want to keep y'all on too long. But Yuli, I think your introvert pass has been revoked because you did a lot of talking this year.
Actually, I lost my voice the last day.
Oh, that's proof. You lose your voice, that means that you really maximized. So instead of asking you the question, I'll just ask, well, yeah, it's the same question, but I saw you do it. So networking wise, what were you doing to enter these conversations and just be a part of it?
Well, my secret is find yourself an Elijah, or for anyone else, Anna Greg and/or Greg, and just let them do the hard work. Find the group, start the conversations, and then you just slide in quietly, and you just stand there, and then Elijah's like, "Oh, hey, Yuli," and then it just naturally happens. I'm super introverted unless I'm already once you get me going, then it's hard to like shut me up. I mean, Branko knows we ended up talking for like 4 or 5 hours. We went to lunch with Elijah. We even kept it going after that. I think it's the getting it going that's hard for me, and I hate to just go up to someone, and I feel like I think my fear is like just not wanting to interrupt someone. Like I feel like that's not, obviously it's kind of normal at VidSummit, but that's basically how I met most of the people I met. It was just kind of like, you're done talking to someone, you kind of just walk around and you see, in my case, it's, my crew is Elijah. And so I'll just walk up to him, and now he's there with somebody he had just met, probably about almost done with the conversation. And then I just step in and it kind of continues to me. And then he walks off because he wants to go meet someone else. And now, I'm meeting this new person. And that's kind of how it just like evolved. Same with him. I was talking to Asia and Elijah just came and sat down. And then at that point we were kind of done. And then they took over. And I think that's like how most of the conversations happened. Same thing when I met Branko. I was a little afraid to talk to him because you seemed like you were pretty tired. You didn't want to talk to anybody. You were there talking to the company Goalcast, and he looked kind of standoffish, and I was like, oh, probably not talking. And we ended up talking for like 5 hours. So it's wild. But I think we tried the whole thing of going up to random people, and it's just not, I mean, I could do it, but it's just not, I don't know. I like more the natural just flow of things. You kind of just end up somewhere bumping into someone, or you're joining another friend who's already in that crew, and the natural conversation just like I can do it every other way, but that's like my favorite. just not pushing or just interrupting, especially not interrupting any flow that's already going on. But yeah. I mean, I met when Elijah, when that happened to me at the very end, towards the end, when I met that girl from Australia, which was amazing. A girl that came alone all the way from Australia. And she was at the end, she was like, I'm so happy to have met you. This is so great. We ended up going to the after party and dancing a ton. And that's the other thing I was going to say. If all else fails, just show up to the after party and just dance. Because I think I probably met the same amount of people just dancing on the dance floor. I met Rebecca that way. I met Ken. So many people just kind of music is universal. So you don't even have to talk at first. You're just like, hey, let's just. So if all else fails, you can always meet people that way.
Nicely put. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add, when I met Yuli at the after party, she just dragged me onto the dance floor.
You know what? I think I was vaguely there for that, if I remember.
You were, yeah.
Yeah, I was. And like last year, even though Kelly was a bigger dragger, y'all tried to drag me on the dance floor when they're playing the Fruit Loop music, and I wasn't having none of it. But eventually they started to play some hip hop, and I got out there. But we're gonna say that's the next question. We're gonna save that for a sec. I'll briefly share networking for me. I have these in bullet points, but everything that everyone says applies. I just want to add on top of that, be intentional with your wardrobe so you can wear your merch or whatever style of content creation you make. Just think about that when designing your wardrobe. Get a QR code. You can do this on Canva or Genius Link or whatever, and link your link tree or your YouTube channel or whatever you want people to do. And you can save that as a screensaver, or you can save it as a screenshot on your phone. That's what I did. So when you're connecting with someone, you can just pull your phone out and they can scan it, and then you can use Blink and they'll have your number, or they can follow you on social media, etc. Have a game plan for these scenarios, because networking and connecting is great, but oftentimes there might be opportunity for us to make money together. So have a game plan for collaborating with someone, getting a client if you're a freelancer, getting a sponsor for your content. And that doesn't mean that these outcomes will happen, but just have a game plan if they do happen. And this is a big one. I use Google Spreadsheet, but start something on Google Spreadsheet and put everyone's contact information in that spreadsheet so that you'll have a way to keep in touch. And this is how you can follow up with people. I mean, case in point, look at how big this panel is. If I try to keep in track of all of y'all in my head, I would it wouldn't work. So that spreadsheet helps with that. And this is a big thing. Within, I'll say a minute or two, exchange names with a person. Y'all are missing free rapport building when you talk with someone and y'all haven't exchanged names, but then you have all this I really feel like I know this person 10 minutes in the conversation, and then it's awkward for one of y'all to ask, hey, so what is your name? Exchange names within the first 5 minutes if you can, okay? And this is the golden rule. Don't ever, 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 ever leave a conversation or let the other person leave without connecting with them in some way if y'all built a connection. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, phone number, whatever, connect with the person. Because this happened several times during a conversation where I see someone that's about to leave, and I just entered the conversation, but these two have been talking for a while. I just say, hey, did y'all get each other's information? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. Let me add you on Facebook. That means that connection could have been just abandoned because they got so excited they forgot to actually connect and keep in touch. So, yeah. With that being said, last question, then we'll go ahead and get out of here because I imagine y'all are starting to get hungry. This after party, I was easy on them last year because it was the first time. This time, I'm going to be a tad bit more critical. But I just want to ask y'all, what was y'all's opinion of the after party? But before I start asking everyone, I do want to give a shout out to Gregory because he managed to get people on the dance floor. In fact, it's taken a while to pop up. Come on. Okay, well, while that's popping up, essentially the dance floor was kind of.
Be on the second floor, gathering this, so that we can get this
Elijah's on it.
for 2026. Who's with me? Make some noise. Okay.
Tell DJs to make sure they got the right music.
Yeah.
Let's go. 3, let's go.
Get a shout out for literally the same singer that got people on the dance floor. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. They still out there, aren't they?
Let's go. I'm just glad that they allowed me to go back there and grab the mic, because I need us to represent for VidSummit the right way. How are we a bunch of content creators and we're not on the floor hacking it out so that we can create some content to bring people in for VidSummit 2026 and make it even better than this one was? Make it make sense. I appreciate you, Elijah.
Nice point.
So yeah, shout out to Gregory for getting more people on that dance floor. But do you have something to say, Gregory, before we go around?
Yeah. I'm speechless. I didn't know you caught that. I mean, I saw that, but I didn't know you were going to put it up here. So, I was just grateful they let me grab the mic and hype people up to get down there. I didn't feel like it worked, but you had pointed out they're still out there. They're still doing their thing. And yeah, I think this after party was much, even though there was less people there this time, the floor stayed packed the whole time. So yeah, it was.
I would disagree, Gregory. It stayed packed once you did what you did, because I was there closer to the beginning. The footage is going to show it, but there weren't that many people out there. It's like a core group of like 9 people, and that was it. Then you went out there and gave your prepared speech, or so it seemed, and then people started getting out there. But yeah, so I just want to ask y'all, each of y'all, like, what did y'all like about the after party, and what y'all didn't like, or what do y'all feel needs improvement? We'll start with Joe.
Okay. You guys do know that I'm a Vegas douchebag, right? So you gotta. They need to put more effort into that after party, man. I'm sorry, but there was not anywhere near enough people there. There was more people there last year by a pretty wide margin, and they didn't do enough to promote it. I mean, come on, free food, dancing, getting everybody together. That place should have been off the hook the whole time. And it's probably music selection. It was kind of stagnant at first. It got better a little bit later. And it's also coming from somebody who was totally worn out, and I was actually starting to get sick. So just from being awake like all day, every day since Sunday. So maybe I wasn't quite in the right frame of mind for it. But you're right. After when Gregory got out there, I mean, that was a ghost town on that dance floor until he got it going, and it just sort of stayed that way. So I don't know. There's a lot they could have done to push that a little bit more. I probably would have mentioned it more in the closing keynotes and stuff like that. Like, everybody, we got to get over there. This is going to be off the hook. There's free food. Last chance to hang out with all the people that you met here at VidSummit. Let's get it rolling. Let's go. And then everybody goes. But there was none of that, really. In fact, I think a lot of people didn't even know about it, to be totally honest.
I agree with you, Joe. I think that I understand this year was a little different because Daryl wasn't available to hype it up like he did last year. Because one of the last things people heard while Daryl was on stage closing out VidSummit was, there's going to be this after party, such and such, boom, 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 let's go over there. It's not over. And like, he hyped people up to go to the after party. But the after party needs to be hyped up by the main event. That didn't happen because he wasn't available to do it. And the people who are just kind of running the show in this place. I don't think they thought to do it, so I think the after party kind of suffered from that number wise. But that is a good point.
They had the medical issues too. They had the one kid that one of the volunteers had to get a hospital. He had a stroke or something. Something happened, and then Daryl being like sick and not being there, and then they had a couple of the speakers that had COVID, so they couldn't come. So it was just there's like a few little downers there, but I don't know if that affected the after party that much, but it all contributes. That's for sure.
Right. Bronco, did you go to the after party or did you pass?
Yeah, I didn't go. I attended the fashion show for, I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes or something. And I realized I was done. Like I was ready to just shut it down. And I also had a lot of work like looming, and it started freaking me out because I was just like, okay, this is pretty much it as far as like why I was here. And, it's like, again, it's like, for me, it's like, I don't do so great in those environments. So, I just don't have the energy anymore to do it. I mean, I'm 45, I think next year I'm bringing my whole family. So I think it'll be different. Like, I think I'll definitely be open for going because they're going to want to go. And I think it'll be a little bit different, but yeah, I think I was just exhausted by that point. So I definitely I turned in. So.
Okay. Matthew, I know we spoke briefly at the party, how it was more popping at the beginning, at least in terms of music choice. It was pretty much some consistent hip hop. And then I guess when it started getting more packed, they switched the genre. So, yeah. But what were your thoughts of the after party? Like, what do you like and what do you think they need to improve on?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the negative. That way we can, I don't know, like lift it up.
Can I interrupt real quick on something I just noticed? I'm so sorry, but in case anybody's watching this in the replay and they see us randomly cracking up, it's because we're laughing at the comments that we're leaving for each other. So just in case, don't think we're like that weird short that splits the joke and the person's laughing at like random, not relevant moments. That's not what we're doing. We're actually cracking up at our own chat. Just want to point that out.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matthew.
So yeah, what was I saying?
You're going into the negative first, so you can end on a positive note.
Yeah. So first off, we walk in there. We like when we're walking up, the music's like, okay, all right. And it's like they're already playing this. I know there's not too many people here yet because the fashion shows like may have just ended or is still going on. So I'm like, oh no, they need to play this when people are getting in there. Then people kind of start coming, and I'm just kind of like sitting there chilling. I'm like, all right, the music, what's happening? What's happening? It's like these songs they're all right songs, they're good pop, but like when it comes to dancing, I'm like, I don't know. All right, and then as it kind of also when we walk in, like go in, look for the food, and it's like, it's like gone pretty much. Like, it's like I see the labels for the food. I'm like, oh, where's it at? And I remember there were some dudes I met there. They were trying to get some water. They couldn't get water. They're like, water is like, I think they said water is like $4. And they're like, we don't know if there's more food coming. And I don't think there was more food. So it was funny. But yeah, aside from the music and the food and just the random kind of, just want to throw this out there. It was a little weird for me. I live probably about 45 minutes from that area. And like I pull up there, and as soon as I walk in, this woman that lives on the floor in the apartment complex I live in, she's like, "What are you doing here?" It's like we like never really speak, except for like some just random occasions in the elevator. And I was like, "Whoa, why you like what are you doing here?" And just wanted to throw that out there. But it's on the bright side, the good stuff for network, it was in a sense like It's more opportunity to network. I met some really brilliant minds in there, some people that really inspired me while I was there. There was a little dancing that went on, like a little line dancing, and there were a couple like kind of classic throwback songs kind of thrown. But and you said, is water not free in bars? Apparently it wasn't. Like I don't know what was up. They're like they asked for water from the tap and they're like, no, you gotta pay. I was like, I don't know what's up. And then
I didn't know that.
not yeah, I had no idea. But my overall tone, the way I kind of left that feeling, uh, it was weird for me because I'm like high from all this from VidSummit overall. Honestly, for me, it felt like it may be because I had to get back home to my wife, but it just felt like I didn't get the proper closure at that after party. It's like I feel like I didn't properly get to say bye. I think I got to say bye to Elijah. I got to say bye to Rebecca. And then it was just like, all right, let me just walk back, drive home. And it just felt off when I was leaving. I'm like, man, it was so good. And then it just didn't feel right when it ended.
Matthew, I'll speak to that real quick, then we'll move on to D-Lo. I think you felt that way. It probably, even though I feel like the after party could have been better, and I'll give my feedback in a minute. I think you felt that way because the actual ending to the summit was kind of anticlimactic. You could tell there are other people that were supposed to be involved that weren't, and people were taking over for them. So it just kind of like ended. Because I have the hindsight of comparing it to last year and the year before, and it always ends with a bang, and it ends with Daryl on stage and all the MCs. Like, it's a big deal. It ends with a bang. This one just literally just kind of ended. It's like, okay, what now?
That's how I felt. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's some. I'm not going to knock them for that too much because I do understand it was out of their control, but it is a symptom to what happened. But D-Lo, what's your feedback for the after party? Like, what do you like, and what do you think they need to improve on?
So this is my first VidSummit, so I really wasn't going in expecting anything. My main goal was how many people can I network with? I'm in an after party with a whole bunch of people, so let me try talking to people. I mean, at first walking in, it was kind of dead. I didn't even know there was food until like I saw people coming with plates, and then after I did find out there was food, they were like, "Oh yeah, that's probably the last of it." So I was like, "Oh shit, I guess I'm not eating." And then I found out there is food, and I got some food, and then yeah, drinks. I couldn't even get a water. I was looking around $4 or $5 for a water, and I'm like, okay, this is an event for influencers. You guys can't like just give us a drink of water, like. That was crazy to me. But towards the end, like Gregory, when he was on the mic talking about we're all influencers, how we're not creating content. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that to heart. So I grabbed my friends, went down to the dance floor, got my camera, started putting my phone in spots. And kept telling people, hey, come on, I got a camera right here. Let's make some videos. And then just create a whole wave from there. Get whole people dancing. And I made some connections while doing that, which was crazy. So that was really fun to me, honestly. And then after the after party, or after everybody left the venue, I think we all went to the courtyard, and then we just continued the conversation from there. And that was really fun, actually.
That's good to hear. Actually, Gregory brings up a good point. I'm reading this comment. I think it actually is illegal to refuse to give people tap water. So I don't know what kind of stuff they were on. Joe has a pretty interesting comment, and then we'll keep going. Says we should have done an after party or after party. Honest, and that's if they keep dropping the ball, that could be an opportunity for someone to take on the mantle and do it better. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. If someone would be willing to, I would be willing to give it a try. Just saying.
It was a thought that popped up in my head. I was like, if nobody knows what we're going to do, can I just say, hey, there's an event happening, and then just see how many people actually show up?
Well, I have these thoughts because a good amount of us here are actually local, so
Yeah.
we could actually set something like that up. But Rebecca, what are your thoughts on the after party? The good, the bad, the ugly, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed the after party. I thought it was really fun. That's where I met Yuli. But there were a lot more people last year, and they definitely made people aware last year of the after party. I don't remember ever hearing anybody saying anything about the after party this year. I don't know if people knew where it was or even if it existed unless they checked the Hova app, and only if they were like paying attention did they know about it. And they had it in the same place as they did last year. And so I was talking to some other people that didn't know where the after party was. Like they knew it existed, but they didn't know where it was. And they only knew how to find it because I was talking to them and I was like, "Oh, it's over at the same place where they had it last year," and I like pointed it out to them. But otherwise, I don't know that they would have even known where to find it. So I'm not sure why nobody even said anything because I mean, I know Daryl wasn't there, but somebody else could have said something about it. And I remember last year, it was there's so many people. Like I went upstairs last year and it was like completely packed, and there were people on the balcony completely packed, and like everyone was just talking to each other. And so I was like with some people at the party and I was like, "Oh, let's go upstairs." Cause like last year there was a whole bunch of people up there. We go upstairs, literally nobody is up there. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we'll just go back downstairs then. So I definitely think they could have done a better job of making people aware of the event. But I think if they do that, I think it would be really fun. Um, as for the water thing, yes, I agree. Like one of my friends there asked for water. They were like, "Oh, it's $4 for water," and he was like, "Ah, never mind."
Honestly, separate tangent is I almost feel like they're opening themselves up to a lawsuit because dancing is actually it can be dehydrating if you're actually out there really having fun, and here you are, you can't get access to water. Something happens. I could see that being a problem. I'm just saying, if that might be something that someone needs to work something out because I know people from VidSummit on the organizing side they do actually watch these videos, so that might be something to consider setting up. But Rebecca, I am glad that you had fun. You had fun for me, so you had fun for both of us. I appreciate that. Asia, what are your thoughts on the after party? Good, bad, ugly, feedback, or all the above?
I mean, everybody knew, I mean, like people that were around me, I was tired. I was tired of everything. I was just like, I guess I was just, what's it called? Drained. Like my battery was just drained. My social battery was drained. That had nothing to do with the party. But when I did get there, I mean, I didn't really expect, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect nothing out of it. Like I didn't expect it to really be like quote unquote a party. I was just gonna it's a get together. I mean, I was more concerned about like keeping my brand intact and like I don't know, like I just keep that I had to keep that in mind. Like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna dance, like I'm gonna not treat this like it's the club. This is still a social networking event. But I mean, it was giving I'm not gonna lie, it was giving like freshman year homecoming.
Well, some people
And
on the dance floor doing middle school
I was
moves.
yeah, I mean I'm thankful, but yeah. I mean, it was still fun. D'Lo made things really fun, and Gregory was really like fun. He was dancing and like I still got to meet people and stuff. I did a little dancing too with Dreams and D'Lo, my friend Amaya, who I met at VidSummit. But I mean, yeah, it was really giving freshman homecoming vibes. I'm not gonna lie, like it was a bit awkward. There's not that many people there. I found out from people like from somebody else, some of like the staff there where the party is. Like we didn't know. We had to get it from somebody else. Word of mouth. So I don't know why that was that. I don't know why it wasn't broadcast to people where it was going to be. And I'm pretty curious to know, where did other people end up going? Did they just go home? Did people like have their own private events? Like, it just, yeah, it felt a little bit, I didn't like that part. I don't like to feel like an outsider in some sense, especially if like I signed up for an event. So I'm in my mind, I was wondering, where is everyone else? Where did everybody else go? You know, is there something that we don't know of? Like, is there another party?
Where's the real after party?
Yeah, I'm like, but I mean, yeah, that's how I felt with everything. But I mean, at the end, it was cool. I didn't feel like I needed to have closure. I know somebody was saying closure. I personally didn't feel like I needed that, just because I was like, my thing is, I'm meeting all these people. None of it's, I'm going to keep it going. Like, I'm going to try to keep communication with everybody that I have met. This is not over. This is just the beginning, not even the beginning. That's how I think of it. So I didn't need that. I knew it was just, this is going to get me to keep going, push forward. But it just would have been nice to have more people there, you know, have some water. I mean, I found out where the food is, because again, I've tried to find where the food is, but yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm underrating the after party, because we met at the after party.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
yeah, we did. But I was sitting in the corner, so I was listening to music. I was chilling out, crossing my legs, listening. Yeah, but I still got to meet the people that I was supposed to meet anyway. Yeah.
Cool. So let's go to the MVP of the after party. Y'all are probably like, in the video that I recorded, I call Gregory like the fame seeker. That's a financial anatomy lingo. I have some called financial personality report, where if you take it, there's one of 6 financial personalities that you are. One of them is the fame seeker, and it breaks down different ways of making money and managing money that work for this personality type. So that's why I called him that. I wasn't being like funny or anything like that. But MVP of the after party, Gregory, what's your review of it? Good, bad, ugly?
You know, I believe that everything is always happening exactly as it should at all times, in all places, for all people, without exception. So I think that everyone that needed to be there was there, and what needed to happen happened. I think the water thing was very unfortunate, but I was able to do that thing I do where I become interested in the waitresses, and then as a result, I got free water, and it was cool. So it made it better, but there was not enough water to like make up for as much dancing and talking as we had done that whole day. I think it was excellent. To be called the MVP of the after party, I feel is a bit of a stretch, you know.
Okay, just the person that got people on the dance floor. Yeah, okay.
Because I saw y'all out there, y'all were getting some moves in. I wasn't really on the floor. I was probably the person doing the middle school dances. So I'll take it if you're giving it to me. But I think the real MVP was like Asia and Rebecca. They were getting it out there for a minute, anyway.
And Yuli, I think,
and
you
yeah,
probably got a full hour's worth of dancing in.
Listen, Yuli came to me and she's like, "They're not playing any reggaeton." So I used my connection, my newly formed connection with the DJ, and we got that going. And then someone else came to me, asking for some more music. So I was like, why don't they just have requests? I think one of the failings of DJs is they play what they like to hear. They play what they like, and they don't think of their audience. There's a lot of DJs that do it. I've seen it, like, I think it's just that whole team from last year. They're the same company. They just switch out DJs, but they just play like what they want. They don't think of the audience and like what actually moves people. They play what they like. So I think if they had like a survey and they pass that on, like, what kind of music do you dance to at the beginning of like when you sign up for VidSummit, or what's your favorite song or something, and then they found a way to mix all those songs together at the after party, I think everybody would come to the floor eventually, especially if you mix like one of your favorite hip hop songs with a reggaeton beat. That would be fire, because you and Yuli would both be on the floor.
No, I have some comments about that. I agree, but I have some additional comments. I'm going to save it for after Yuli goes because I'm gonna go last. But
yeah, overall great, man. Just it was fun. There was a little after party. I think that day I was on my feet like 21 hours because right after that, we pretty much closed the place down. And then we walked across to some other bar. I don't even know the name of it, and we were
what time did you even get home? Like at 4:00?
Babe, what time did I get home that day? Like 5? I think I got home at 5 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like I was 16 all over again.
You were put on too short. Oh wow. I'd be down for that.
Hey, can I jump in real quick? I want to mention something that Gregory said, and it just shocked me. You said, I'm paraphrasing, but everything happens for a reason to everybody, exactly, no exception. Oh my gosh. Like, in hindsight, looking back on that evening and the following day, I feel like you are 100% right.
Wow.
Because I went down, I was in the Hyatt, and every morning for breakfast, I would meet a whole bunch of VidSummit, people, and we would it was great. And the next morning, there was nobody. And I thought, oh, okay, I guess this is really done. And I'm just going to go back and work. I had a flight late in the day, so I was going to try to push my stay at the hotel to just do work. There was a fire alarm in the hotel the moment I sat down to get some work done for the first time all week. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am in serious trouble. I go out, I grab my laptop, I go out, and lo and behold, I meet a friend who I'd met at VidSummit, and we had just this epic conclusion of a connection that would not have happened if it wasn't for that fire drill. And since, I cannot express the relationship that has developed from that moment. And so what you said was so poignant. I just wanted to say that because it was spiritual what happened. So, and it was all because of that fire drill. And it's what are the chances of that? I don't know.
That's beautiful.
Seems destined. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that, bro. That's awesome.
It is. I call that law of attraction. Well, I don't call it that. Everyone would call it that. But that's what it is. Yeah. So, Yuli, after party, your thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly, and Serum, what you got to say?
Sorry. I had fun. I never leave this desk, so 2 minutes of any music is fun. I'm gonna enjoy I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna enjoy whatever music they're playing. Plus, I love music, so it's not that hard. So for me, can I find little things? Yes. I didn't even know about the water thing, so I wasn't looking for water. I was just looking for music. I do remember the first year, though, they did have a huge issue with water in the VidSummit, and they took care of that immediately the next year. That was bad because I was literally, it was our welcome party and there was no water. You had to make a line and be behind 30 people waiting to drink alcohol so you can get a water bottle to drink, to eat your food with. But anyway, so the after party was I thought it was really fun. I had fun. Like I said, I met a bunch of other people there. I do think that, and by the way, it wasn't reggaeton that I asked for. It was just Spanish music. So it could have been salsa, merengue, That's why the other guy came after and asked you for salsa, because that came from me. I was like, I wanted something else. Anyway, yeah, I think they should have. I think they should have a DJ that's more interactive. Maybe somebody from the VidSummit event, one of the people that are already hosting, that kind of get the group of people hyped up, and so that's still connected to the group that's there. And then maybe if they could just take constant requests, and just, if they're a good DJ, they'll be able to blend it in. But just take constant requests because I think if you do a poll, you're just going to get the entire spectrum of possible music in the whole universe. If you just do a poll from all the VidSummit people, which would be just essentially be the same as just saying, hey, we're taking requests. We had a joke going this year that every time the DJ saw that the group was getting really into the song, he would change it. As soon as he saw everybody was as hyped as they could be, he's like, nope. So we were just cracking up. And then I will say that last year, hopefully they'll, everything that went on this year will be, next year they'll take care of it, because last year there was a line to get in. You couldn't find a seat anywhere. You basically had to stand up or go to like the furthest corner and wait and maybe find a seat. The dance floor was packed, so they still had the same DJ situation. Elijah hated the music, but hopefully next year they'll take some of these
Don't make
things
me
into.
sound like the villain. I wasn't the only one that wasn't a fan of the music. Go
It's just
ahead.
facts. It's just facts. So yeah, overall, I mean, listen, I you got to try to find fun and good, happy times in everything. So
Right.
pretty much it.
So I guess I'll cap us off. Here's the thing. With everything I said, I still take into account things that were unplanned in regards to the after party. But with that being said, you could tell there were going to be a few things that were going to be issues regardless of what happened. Just like last year, the music selection was, I personally thought it was whack for the most part, but there's a personal bias there, so I'm going to put that aside. Like I said, my barber's a DJ, so I know a little about it, but I'm not any expert. But there are universal genres or universal artists that everyone likes that would be considered the safe option. Like a good example is like everyone probably likes Michael Jackson, right? So why not just the DJ can just have a collection of songs to pick from a universal genre that most people are going to gel with, and that could be the baseline to get more people on the dance floor. I mean, Karina, the woman that you talked about, Yuli, from Australia, it was interesting because they were playing like some kind of pop music, and like you and her were like dancing, right? And I finally got on the floor, so you would stop giving me these envious looks like, Elijah, get out here. So I got out there and stood there, and then they started playing some hip hop. It's like, yeah, I can get down with this. So I started dancing, but I could tell that turned her off because she didn't like that. She's like, I can't really get in. Then she got off the dance floor. Just pick a universal genre that everyone likes, or artists rather, and just cycle between those and read the goddamn room. Sometimes the DJ would have something random on, and it would get people's feet moving, and it'd be on for like 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds. Then it would switch to something that immediately got people standing again. Like, they just weren't reading the room at all. I could tell that he was looking like down the whole time and would look up briefly and then look down. Like, I think the DJ just needs more work, and the after party needs to be promoted more. I know what happened, but most people found out about it because the email was sent out. That's not the most reliable way, but send the email, hype it up during the event. I would even go as far as say hype it up every single day of the event. Like, exit out with, hey, don't forget the after party is going to be at such and such time on day 3. And yeah, that would be pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and start closing it down because I know y'all probably hungry. But I do want to leave off with one question. And I'm going to ask Gregory this question. Unless if anyone else did any interviews, let me know. You can chime in. But Gregory, I know you got a chance to interview a lot of people like me, including some of the speakers, some of the bigger YouTubers. What's your secret to being able to interview them and get footage that you can use for your own brand?
Be more interested in them than you are with promoting yourself.
Okay.
I mean, for example, Cody Sanchez. I did not see that coming, right? And it was crazy. It was like this weird coincidence that when I turned on my camera, the people I was looking for just tend to pop up in little, like David Shands walked by. I didn't expect that. Someone said he was there, but I couldn't find him. As soon as my camera came on, it was him. Then Cody was over here, and I'm like, dude, what is going on right now? And I mean, I just started with a compliment. Cody, thank you for who you are. So maybe thank them for what they do and who they are. And then just ask them, can I get a quick interview with you? Don't deny yourself. I'll say this. This is the most important thing, because I think this is what people do with imposter syndrome. They think that they're not worthy of walking up to someone who just turned a camera on and did it longer than you and got these results, right? That's the only difference between you and them, is that they've been doing the thing for a longer time, and they've gone through all the bumps and bruises that it takes to get to that place, and they just didn't stop doing it. But when we leave this earth, we leave all the same way as we came in, with nothing in our hands, broken, alone, and afraid, right? I don't know. Just, we leave with nothing. We're all the same. And so you just have to have the courage to go ask the question. But don't deny yourself. Let them tell you no if they will. I guarantee they probably won't if you have the courage to just walk up and talk to them, especially if you compliment them first. But yeah, don't deny yourself. Let them deny you, but don't do it for yourself. And that goes for like job applications, anything you're doing. If you think someone's going to tell you no, let them tell you no. Don't tell yourself no for them and then never have that opportunity, because you never know what can happen if you just talk to someone.
And you have to live with regret, and that's not a fun feeling. Well, that's a powerful closing statement. I would just add on top of that, I specified when I want to interview someone to ask, hey, do you have a free 2 or 3 minutes to do a small interview? I specify how long it's going to be, because some interviews, they can drag on and the speakers may know that. So then they start, well, I might not have enough time now. If you just say how long it's going to be, or say it's going to be a question or two, oh, that's not going to take that long. I can slide you in real quick. Are you ready? So make sure you have your equipment ready, the mics, all that, et cetera, and you can slide them in. But the biggest thing is don't be afraid to approach. And no one's immune from this. For a sec, I actually was overthinking approaching Nick Nimmin to do an interview, and Yuli actually saw me doing this. And she's kind of like, well, why don't you just go over there? I was like, you're right. Let me just go over there. So I went over there and talked to him, just asked, hey, can I have a few minutes of your time? I'd love to do a small interview. He said, yeah. Simple as that. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone who attended this VidSummit panel. I think a lot of people got a lot of value out of it. The section on networking, I noticed the live stream numbers started to peak around there. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that people really want to know for next year. How do I actually do this networking thing? How can I maximize VidSummit? But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop off here. All of us are probably hungry. Time to eat. I appreciate all y'all hopping on, and I'll be sure to link to all y'all social medias in the description. So
Elijah, can I mention something real quick that I think will be helpful, because you and I were there when a lot of people mentioned this to you when you were asking them like their thoughts about it. And a lot of people mentioned the thing about, I wish I knew that where my hotel was. I wish I actually found out ahead of time that I was like 1.5 miles or 2 miles or 3 miles away, because a lot of people were hoping they could just walk right downstairs and have like a full lobby. And that's pretty much only at the Westin for the most part. So a lot of people just kept mentioning that over and over. And so I would say just make sure to like research your hotel, try to do it early on so that maybe you can get those really good rates at the Westin or like some closer ones around there. Also, there's some hotels that have shuttles. You can take advantage of that. And then also, especially if you're a girl traveling alone, just maybe find somebody ahead of time in the app and maybe partner up. You can take Ubers with another person, another girl, just, make it safer, but also just so you can plan ahead and just know what you're gonna expect, ahead of time. Because I heard that from a lot of people, just that, oh, I didn't realize the hotel wasn't like right here walking distance. Because there's some hotels that are about 1 mile away, but there's like a highway in between. And so you don't see that, you think, oh, 1 mile I can walk. And so just wanted to point that out because it was a big thing that everybody kept mentioning.
That's a good point. There's a lot of logistics when it comes to signing up. Well, just the whole process of signing up, where you're going to stay and all that stuff. I might make some kind of video covering that separately next year, because that is feedback people had of last year's video. Like, hey, we'd like to know more about the local hotels, how far away it is, like where should we park in, that kind of thing. So I appreciate you saying that. I can't believe I forgot to do the stereotypical YouTube thing. Like the video. I very much appreciate if y'all do that. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if y'all are new. So y'all, appreciate y'all hopping on. Let's go ahead and get out of here, have some dinner. And I appreciate y'all coming on.
Great hanging with y'all, guys. See ya.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, Elijah.
Most definitely.
Thank you, Elijah.